Is this the secret he has been hiding? That's what he said. Can't you die? On the roof, he looked at the unhealed hole in his abdomen, and the man who finally breathed Yunwoo's face was white, his hands were clenched, and his nails fell into the palm of his hand. I just feel that my heart is pained. Is he afraid that she will see him like this? Or is she afraid to know that he can walk like a normal person even though he has stopped breathing and heartbeat? You think that scares her? Did he forget that not long ago, she was still a walking corpse? Yunwoo never knew that he would be so angry. I almost wanted to jump off the roof and slap the man. However, I never knew that I would feel so sad for a man. This stupid man. Did he really think that she would be unaware of him holding her all the way? I really think that if I don't let her see the pulse of the wound, I'll be so dull that I can't feel it. What's wrong? Or do you think that steady pulse can fool her? Looking at the man in the blood pool below, Yunwoo felt angry and distressed. However, it is also because of men. On the contrary, it made her feel heartfelt but helpless, and there was an inexplicable anger. And her anger, not from him, but from herself. Because of all this, she is too weak now. If she can have enough strong ability, she will not let him know that he is not the enemy, but still fight, knowing that he is afraid of the national teacher, but still let him expose his identity. She is not stupid. Along the way, she gradually understood what he was hiding. It's just that he didn't seem to be ready to confess to her. After all, he didn't completely open his heart to her and didn't intend to let her know his side. But since he didn't want her to know, then she'll take it as if she didn't know. But there was one thing she had to do. That is, she wants to regain her ability, she wants to be strong. Strong enough, one day. She will not only let those who owe her return 100-fold. And let everyone remember. She is the diseased trash in everyone's eyes, Cloud Dance. And this man is the man she dances with. At that time, she wanted everyone to know that she was the only woman who matched him enough to fight side by side. The man in the blood pool did not know that the figure on the roof had appeared. This time, it's too much. Even his most basic acuity seems to have weakened. However, this is his territory, perhaps, not much. So, I don't know. When Yunwoo quietly left, he left the mansion with the body of an assassin from the secret eyes around. It took an hour for the hole in the abdomen to heal and scar. It was also at this time that the blood in the blood pool had almost been absorbed. Long Qingxie stands up, ready to clear it with clear water. Wait and have a look at that little thing. But at this time, there was a knock at the door. In general, in this case, the people under his hand are clear and will never disturb. This time Dragon Qingxie grabbed the cape on one side, put it on his body, and then said coldly, "What's the matter?" Outside the door, 0 and 9 came anxiously. "Master, the girl you brought back was found missing when you delivered the meal." "Gone." Long Qingxie's face sank in an instant, but he didn't go to put on a piece of clothes, and his figure was already in a flash. As soon as the door opened. Dressed in a black cloak, but with the smell of blood, Dragon Qingxie has stood in front of the 09. "It's not for you to guard her. How could anyone disappear?" The sound was extremely cold. 09 bowed his head and said, "My subordinates have been guarding the door, but it's incompetence. Please punish me." However, at this time 09 seems to think of something, immediately put a piece of paper in hand to the front. "Master, this may be a note left by the girl." Long Qingxie's face was full of anger and he reached for it. However, when I saw the content above, I was stunned. It says, "Don't worry. I have something to do. Do what you want. Also, since the identity has been found by the national teacher, don't use it again. Take care. In the next meeting, I hope you can really become my husband. And then, I will break the sky for you." Identity? Did she find out? However, let him really Zhengleng, it is the sentence behind. To be her husband. To break the sky for him. That little thing, she dragon-cheeing evil heart palpitation clenched the note in the hand, but the bottom of the eyes, but also aroused a surge. 10 years. I've endured it for 10 years. He really has something to do. However, at that time, it was time for him to support her. Deep in the night. After leaving from Xincheng, Yunwu has changed into a black nightwear, dressed as an assassin. On a high-class horse, straight to the South Warcraft forest. At this time, the force of elements in the body is absorbed by most of the cloud dance. Although there was the aura of heaven and earth in the Chaos Hall, she recovered her physical strength in a very short time. However, the power absorbed seems to have become a vacancy. It's obviously a lot weaker. But before, Yunwu picked many fruits of different colors from the orchard in the northern Warcraft forest. Xianyuan fruit. During the journey, Yunwulian ate 7 fruits of 7 elements. The power of elements in the body has been greatly enhanced. And this is enough for her to provide Bai Shuer and Xiao Stink in the contract ring, so that they can gradually recover. This time, go to the southern forest. Yunwu didn't really go to the national teacher of Longshu Kingdom to get her ability back. He absorbed it and didn't plan to get it back. I'm not stupid enough to send myself to the door again. This time, she's going to gamble. Bet her on the hole. And let her bet, is that day, at the edge of the forest, the young guard of the bamboo forest. Though, she didn't know what was in that place. However, to set up a maze, there are so many Warcraft guardians, even the son of the national master, it must be something not simple. Otherwise, it would not have been so laborious. This time she went, she gambled this time. Now that the national teacher has absorbed her strength, she will take back some things as debt. The horse raced for about 2 hours and finally entered the southern forest. After dismounting, Cloud Dance also took advantage of the night, straight toward the memory, the direction of the bamboo forest quickly away. Although the power of elements in her body is less, it doesn't affect her speed and figure at all. Because she was a killer. In the eyes of this stranger, he is a top assassin. Lurking at night is definitely the best battlefield for assassins. By memory. About another hour or so, I finally came to the position of the bamboo forest that day. At this point, it's just the second half of the night. Warcraft in the forest is also a time to sleep. However, Yunwu didn't rush in, but lurked outside the bamboo forest for a long time. We'll see through the situation. The black figure, just like the civet landing, completely converged its own breath and went towards the bamboo forest. I had the last experience. This time, the cloud dance operation, just light feet on the ground. The flash of the figure, even a trace of bamboo leaves have not touched. When the cloud dance entered, there was still no fluctuation in the bamboo forest around. Cloud dance also determines what you want in your heart. It seems that this bamboo forest is the key to touch this area array. I'm afraid that the purpose of bamboo forest's external connection is to introduce some low-level Warcraft to provide food for the Warcraft groups under the ground. Once Warcraft enters this area, the array will be activated again, whether it is in or out. It's a brilliant array. However, the cloud dance at this time is not to see the structure of this array. But after entering the bamboo forest, Yunwu is moving towards the cave on the cliff sensitively. That day, although they were chased by the Warcraft. However, she noticed that there were spiders and scorpions on the ground of the whole area, but the cave was excluded. At that time, in addition to the flame fruit, the most important plant was a orchid grass that needed the aura of heaven and earth to grow. Since the orchid grass can survive in the cave, it is said that there is aura in the cave. Enter the cave. It was still dark all around, almost invisible. However, Yunwu did not intend to light up with fire. Now that you are here, you must be very careful. Cloud Dance tune purple pupil flash, sweeping the dark cave, only to see, under the purple pupil, the dark cave gradually began to be visible. But the weird thing is, in her purple pupil sweep, in addition to the cave can see Chu, also saw a white transparent fog-like things, floating in the air, filled with the whole cave. What's that? Is it the spirit of heaven and earth? Cloud Dance can't help but walk towards the deep part of the cave, where the white fog is dense. But at this time. Drop. The sound of some kind of water drops suddenly and clearly rings out in Yunwoo's mind. The next second, Cloud Dance in the heart but flashed a bit surprised. Because, her purple pupil under the night, even clearly see that originally floating in the air around the transparent white fog. As soon as she walked in, she gradually moved closer to her. Then the white fog began to penetrate her skin. At first, the speed was still very slow, but after a while, it became faster and faster. Just now, the sound of water drops came from the first door of the chaos hall of her consciousness sea, the space inside the living door. Let's take a look. Only then discovered that at this time that first floor, in the life gate originally the open space, already had the earth-shaking existence. The green grass on the ground is full of vitality, and the seven-source fairy tree is full of vitality. It's in the middle. It's very tall. However, to Yunwoo's surprise, not far from the tree is a small pool. In the pool, the orchid grass, with 1×10 seedlings from the pure pool, emerald green. Water drops are the drops falling over the space. It was like rain, dripping on the grass, pool, have added a strange vitality. It was the white fog that entered her body and was absorbed by Chaos Hall. The white fog in the cave is really the aura of heaven and earth. Cloud Dance purple pupil looking at this time that has been to her body infiltration of white fog, Fundus flashed a touch of surprise. However, surprise is surprise, but she did not forget the purpose of this visit. Into the deep cave. The place where the white fog gathered was just the location of a rock. It didn't look any different. But when Yunwoo just touched it. Click. A sound of some mechanism being touched. After a while, I heard the sound of the chain being pulled and the heavy stone door being pushed open slowly. See the corner, a stone door moved. A person can enter the entrance, Cloud brow a pick. It seems that the last time they entered this cave. Attention is really attracted by the flame fruit and the orchid grass, and ignores how a mechanism exists. However, it can only be said that the boy's intelligence know how to set such an attractive cover-up in the cave. It's unexpected that there is such a mechanism in this clear cave. Enter through the entrance to the cave. As soon as I went in, Fengshi felt a cool breath and came directly to my face. I can see it under the purple pupil. I saw that the entrance channel is a direct white mist, abundant, frightening. And white fog, when it comes into contact with her skin, it's like water meets a sponge and penetrates into her skin rapidly. Feeling, like in the infiltration of the white fog, little by little cleaning the body of impurities in general. The whole body is cool and comfortable. However, the Cloud Dance is unknown. Before being absorbed by the Chaos Temple, it was through her body. This is not only washing her whole body, but also moistening her. Especially now, she has been sucked away most of the elemental energy in her body. Less impurities from outside. In such a pure heaven and earth aura wash, it is not only wash, but also in a little bit of pure her blood, changing her constitution. Originally, the third time of witchcraft awakening needs purification in blood to, however, at this time, it has changed unconsciously. Of course. For this unknown Cloud Dance, where do you know that such a chaotic hall absorbs the aura of heaven and earth, but let her take such a great advantage? I don't know, that ink night ice sucked away her ability, but let her at this moment, blood change faster. Yunwoo thought that all the white fog in the air was absorbed by the chaos hall. Without knowing it, Yunwoo feels cool and clear. It's very comfortable. But I didn't care much. Along the passage, carefully walked forward. However, Yunwoo soon found out that this passage leads to the underground. The deeper you go, the quieter you are, as if you are in another underground world. Dada. Her gently falling steps echoed in the open and silent passage. At this time, Cloud danced in the hands of the ancient sword holding. Step by step, go deep. Because, she saw the white fog in the air, it seemed to become thick, and the speed of penetration into her skin became a little slow because it was too thick. In that case, the front should be the source. Rustle. The sound of friction like quicksand. It's a familiar voice that night. Cloud danced in the near step, suddenly slow down. In the purple eyes, the cold kill passes by, holding the big knife tightly in the hand. Rustle. Just around the corner of the passageway, there is a spacious space about 10 square meters wide. At this time, it happened to be a toad full of pimples. It was from his mouth that the rustle came. It's a 6th order warcraft. Hide in the dark. Cloud dance, kill the purple eye of the idea to shrink a little. If she hasn't been sucked away by the national master, maybe she'll be a little bit of a winner when she's unprepared. But now in the Cloud frown, I do not know how to start at this time. In my mind, black proud voice came suddenly. Mukitu, use the branch on your abdomen and cut off its tongue. Muktu. Yes, how could she forget the existence of that strange branch in her body? Although, I don't know what it is. But, from the beginning, it didn't seem to hurt her. He even helped her many times. Hayo, are you okay? When trying to mobilize the branches in the body, Yunwoo still couldn't help but ask. Before, it helped her to escape, but she didn't escape. On the contrary, she fought with the national teacher and nearly killed herself. It has a contract with her. When she dies, it must die. Hayo seems to be silent for a long time. Just when Yunwoo thought he would not answer, the low and dignified voice came. It's okay. Deal with what's in front of you first. I heard that Yunwoo's original heart was put down. And then, with her mobilization, the originally motionless branches in her body finally began to emerge quickly from her skin. I don't know why. Seeing the willows emerging from her skin, Yunwoo always has an illusion that it is a part of her body. However, this is not a time for distraction. At the moment when the willows came out, Yunwoo put her hand directly on the ground. Brush brush. Willow, like that swift and violent spirit snake, turns into the rattan like the net, brushes toward that 6 levels of Warcraft shrouded in the past. Then is a toad sleeping with his eyes closed. At that moment, it seems to be aware, suddenly opened the beast eyes. Rustle dash, brush. The toad just wanted to stand up with a fierce thud. But at this time, he was tightly wrapped up by the willow vines coming out of the ground. Rustle dash, the purple sticky tongue, at the same time, spit out fiercely, trying to get rid of the wicker package. Dormant in the corner of the Cloud, eyes Ali, let go. With the sound of Cloud dancing, Ben tightly tightened the toad's wicker and quickly pulled down. That purple thick tongue, also in that homeopathy pop up. At this moment, Yunwoo put a mat under his feet and jumped away. The ancient sword attacked the dark fire and cut it down. Poof! When the knife falls, the purple tongue falls and the blood splashes out. Quack dash, at that moment, the toad roared like pain, and the huge sound sounded in the space. This can make Yunwoo's face change, and hold the sword tightly in his hand again, ready to wave it straight away. However, the next second, the roar of the toads stopped for a moment. Cloud dance's movement also directly pauses rigid in the mid-air, the eye ground is so surprised color. I saw the willow that just wrapped the toad. The moment purple tongue was cut off and blood splashed on it. Green wicker, homeopathy like hot water like, into a purple red. For a moment, Yunwoo seemed to feel its excitement. Yes, just excited. It's like suddenly meeting something that makes you crazy, and you're out of control. Instantaneous. Brush. The wicker went straight into the toad's mouth and into its body. Hiss dash, not a few seconds. Originally a giant toad, it shrank a lot in the twinkling of an eye. When Yunwoo came back from the stupor, the toad in front of him had become a piece of dry skin. Blood? It's done. Meat? It's gone. Bones? There's nothing left. Just a few seconds, just a few seconds. Level 6 Warcraft, is it all gone? If, seeing this, Cloud Dance cannot be surprised, then nothing can make her feel frightened. Hiss dash, a sound like a snake's breath came from the skin of the lump. Cloud Dance think goosebumps are some soaring. But the feet are rooted and can't move. I can only watch it. Looking at the purple willow, from the toad's pimple subcutaneous, slowly sliding out. And then it went down her feet and up her waist. Turn around, just like that, quietly wrapped around her waist, like a belt. However, compared with the previous nothing. This time, she could clearly feel its breath of life. Just like a creature, it seems to have a cool temperature. It's weird. But Yunwu didn't know why. Although seeing that scene, he felt that he was scared to goosebumps. But it always feels like it won't hurt her. It's a strange feeling. When I saw it, it was quiet for a while. Cloud Dance can only converge that mentality, and quickly grope toward the corner of the space. Because, just that toad's movement, I don't know whether it will attract other Warcraft, or, people, click. The sound of touch. Then, there was the sound of the stone gate moving again. When the stone door opened, a dazzling light suddenly illuminated the whole space. The cloud dances and frowns. When you get used to the light and see what's behind the stone gate. Cloud dance makes people feel silly. I didn't respond for a long time. What's going on? Underground Ice City. Behind the stone gate is a city of ice sculptures. It's the ultimate breath of ice. Even standing outside the stone gate, Yunwu could clearly feel the chill. What's the matter? What's the matter? It's just for such a carved ice cellar. Cloud Dance can't help but frown and talk to himself. However, at the moment when Yunwu opened the stone gate, the sleeping man was in the ice cellar. But in that instant, the instant opened that pair of godless blue eyes. Silent, as if it was a cold corpse. However, after the man opened his eyes, the figure slowly sat up from the ice bed. Godless blue eyes, as if by what traction. Turn your head and look in the direction of the stone gate that Cloud Dance opened. And in the direction of blue eyes, the breath of ice cold, like in an instant and reduced several degrees, the ground that little icicle brush out. The sharp edge is shining, and the cold is striking. If ordinary people see this scene, they will be shocked. However, still dancing in the clouds outside the stone gate, I don't know the scene at the other end of the ice sculpture. In the ice cellar, when the chill came, I couldn't help shivering and rubbing my arm. How cold. What the hell is this ice cellar for? Muttered a Cloud Dance footstep but still slowly toward inside walk. No matter how, can so much trouble let a group of Warcraft Guard, 6th level Warcraft Guard, absolutely not on the time of an ordinary ice cellar. Now that it's here, Yunwu doesn't plan to return empty-handed. Even if this is an ordinary ice sculpture, she's going to destroy it. At least, it is necessary to let the National Master lose something, so that she ran all night and sneaked into the tiger's den. However, when walking into the ice cellar, Yunwu didn't close the stone gate. It's so cold. It's supposed to be frozen into ice when it's closed. But Cloud Dance just walked in. Bang! Without touching any switch at all, the stone door closed automatically. The speed was so fast that even Cloud Dance didn't respond. All of a sudden, it was a surprise. Almost at the same time, the fire element in the hand jumped up, illuminating the whole ice cellar with white cold. In this case, Yunwu's heart was inexplicably cold. With one hand holding the sword, the other hand leaping with fire elements, the purple pupil only sweeps around, and the eye ground is full of vigilance. Always feel, not right. Because, this ice cellar seems too cold. She has the element of fire in her body. She feels so cold that her whole body feels scared and her blood clots strangely. That feeling. Inexplicably, it's similar to the feeling of that teenager when he used the cold goo fire. Cloud Dance can't help shivering. Is that the boy here? As soon as this idea passed through my mind, Yunwoo's eyes suddenly sank and became more alert. But all around, there was silence. There was no breath of people, no movement. Only the cold white air spread, and the carved ice sculpture. I can see that under her fire element, the ice sculptures around her are crystal clear and beautiful. And Cloud Dance is also slowly walking in, also roughly see clearly. This ice cellar, about 500 or 600 square meters, is very spacious, and the ice in the ice cellar is carved like a castle. Outside the castle, there is a small pavilion. Tables, chairs one by one, all of them are exquisite sculptures, which gives people a sense of being inhabited. Living? Does anyone live here? Originally, Yunwoo was just a flash of doubt. But at this time, a small sound like footsteps suddenly came from the depths of the ice. The cloud dances, the eye bottom suddenly sinks cold. Is there someone? After a while, I vaguely saw a figure, which seemed to be coming out of the ice sculpture from the cold and white fog. That step, very slow. But every step, it seems to hear the rustle of the icicle. And the cold air seemed to come with the approaching of the figure. Cold. It's very cold. Almost at that moment, Yunwoo's eyelashes were frosted, and her lips and teeth were shivering with cold. Damn it. Who the hell is that? The sense of crisis in Yunwoo's heart rises in an instant. At that moment, I wanted to turn around and retreat. But I found out. I don't know when, her feet, actually from the ground ice to dip together, with the root-like. In addition to the ancient sword in his hand, the fire element on his left hand, though not extinguished, was all wrapped in a layer of ice. What's going on? However, just when Yunwoo's face sank, ready to stir up the dark fire of Guwoo, the figure came out of the cold. That pair of blue eyes, meet the line of sight of Cloud Dance. At that moment, Yunwoo felt that his body was shocked and his mind was attracted by the blue eyes. Blue, not the blue of the sky. It's the kind of glacial current that goes down to the bottom of the ocean. Extreme cold. It made her feel like her soul was frozen. Who are you? Low voice, cold came. Can also be in that sound, was frozen like Cloud Dance, just suddenly slow God. Who are you? Cloud Dance almost came out with his question. It was a young man in his early 20s. Wearing a light blue dress, with blue eyes and white hair, her skin is extremely white, and her facial features are more beautiful than those of women. What a cool man. But I don't know why, the first time I saw him. Let people feel, always feel, this man is like an ice sculpture, not a person. From him, there is no sense of popularity. On the contrary, the chill of the ice is full. When the man heard the question of Cloud Dance, his blue eyes seemed to flash a little. It was half a sound before he came closer to Yunwoo again. With this approach, Yunwoo's face almost changed, his whole body trembled with cold, and his lips turned purple. Damn it! It turned out that the cold of this place was emanating from him. What the hell is he? The man stopped 2 steps away from Yunwoo. That pair of godless blue eyes, so straight staring at the cloud, you are the first human to ask me who I am after I wake up. I saw it, just as he was talking. Cloud Dance has already felt that the feet of the frozen feet, ice brush up, almost frozen to her calf position. A thin layer of ice began to form on him. The blood is frozen, too. It's cold. It's really cold. But his words made Yunwoo understand. It turns out that this man is not human at all. Before I'm completely frozen into ice. Cloud Dance is almost out of instinct, quickly will Chaos Palace, that is not easy to move the source of fire, to lead some. At the moment when the fire of origin comes out, Yunwoo feels burned and painful. But when the ice on the body meets the fire of the source. Click, click. The tiny sound of ice breaking. Ice-frozen blood, also began to warm back. The ice began to melt however, just when the original fire breath of Yunwoo began to melt the ice. That stand in the cloud opposite, ice-like expressionless man. Suddenly he frowned. That pair of godless blue eyes, like a flash of strange streamer. Are you hot? Strange question. Hot. She was burning inside, but outside, she was frozen into ice by him. All thanks to him. However, his strange question did not fall for a while. Also didn't wait for Cloud Dance to have reaction, see he suddenly stretched out a hand, put the palm on that shoulder. At that moment. Hoo glacial cold, almost in an instant, such as the wind drama. He didn't give Yunwoo a chance to react, so he turned Yunwoo into an ice sculptor. Then, he bent slightly, straight on the horizontal, the ice man's Cloud Dance to resist up. Yes. It's the kind that you can fight with your shoulders. Then turned around, slowly, and went to the dark depths of the ice cellar. Shit. What is the situation? Cloud Dance at this time. I really want to be rude. However, her whole body was frozen into ice sculpture, and she could do nothing even if she wanted to speak. What makes her want to cry is that the fire that she brought out from the Chaos Palace is burning directly in her body. No retreat, no advance. Burning inside the body is extremely painful, but outside the body, it is constantly infiltrated by the strange cold. Ice and fire. What's that like? Asked Yunwoo at this time. However, Cloud Dance but inexplicably feel out, in front of this man, did not kill her. It's just, where is he going to take her? Deep in the southern Warcraft forest, a cave. A young man who is adjusting his breath. All of a sudden. Like feeling something, suddenly opened that pair of sharp eyes. Who broke in? As soon as his cold voice fell, his figure got up from the stone and walked out quickly. But as soon as I got out of the cave. And he saw a man in black with a mask outside. Young master. The Lord said, your body needs to rest here for a few days. As soon as the man in black saw the boy, he immediately opened his mouth respectfully. But that youth, but slightly sank the facial expression, immediately low way. I don't have anything to do now. You go to report that someone broke into the bamboo forest and ask my father to come here. As soon as his words fell, and before the man in black opened his mouth, his figure was already in a flash. In the twinkling of an eye, he quickly went to the bamboo forest at the edge of the forest. No, master, he. The black-robed man wanted to pay back, so the Lord closed the door. But the boy's figure has quickly disappeared in the night. This side of the ice is underground. The Cloud Dance carried by the man, though, was frozen into an ice sculpture. However, the consciousness is very clear. I saw the man carrying her, has been to the depths of the ice. Deep in the ice. It's a structure inhabited by people. It has everything, beds, lampstands, tables however, some of them are made of ice. But when you see this, you don't have to guess. Here, this is the man's room. It's just, what did he bring her to his room for? The Cloud dances under the ice. After looking at the room, with eyes turning, I really don't understand what he is doing with her. Kill her. Eat her. Or torture her. It seems that it's okay just now. You don't have to bring it to the room, do you? However, when the man came near the room, he didn't stop at his feet. Just like that, he walked towards another passage of the room. When he finally stopped, Yunwoo saw clearly the situation in front of him. Here is a space of about 10 square meters. And in the middle, it is a bath with cold breath. Is this a bathroom? No. What did he bring her to the bathroom for? And the answer soon came. I saw that the man put her down from under his shoulder, and then, as if no one else, began to stretch out his hand to take off her clothes. It's a drop. His hand seems to be able to penetrate the ice, across the ice, directly to take off her clothes. At this moment, The cloud dance under the ice sculpture changed his face. What the hell does this man want? Fortunately, after she took off her coat, because the purple willow around her waist was tightly wrapped, but she didn't take it off. However, Yunwoo noticed that he seemed to be afraid of the purple willow. As soon as he touched it, his hand was withdrawn. What a poisonous thing. A murmur like a whisper came out of the man's mouth. And his blue eyes, also staring at the purple willow, and the undercurrent flickered. How poisonous. The purple willow. However, at this time, Yunwoo's face changed again. If she can move at this time, her first action is to slap the man in the face. Damn it. Even the cheeky dragon Qing Xie didn't take advantage of her directly. But in front of her, his hand was directly in front of her right chest. How weak. On the man's exquisite face, he frowned and murmured to himself. Weak? What do you mean? Is it her little steamed bread or, it's too weak? I don't like people who are too weak. The man stared at Yunwoo and muttered again. And this sentence, but his instantaneous let cloud dance, feel the bottom of my heart a inexplicable anger rise. This damned Iceman. What the hell is he? Freezing her like this, holding the salty pig's hand close to her chest and commenting in front of her. However, just when Yunwoo was angry, the Iceman finally took back his hand. However, the moment she took back her hand, she was pushed into the pool with cold breath. Poof! Splashing water, ice is also at that moment, brush frozen. Cold. How cold. When you touch the water in the pool, even if the cloud dance is frozen by ice, you can clearly feel the extremely cold feeling that can almost penetrate into the soul. Now don't talk about the blood, I'm afraid, even the soul is frozen. Consciousness is gradually drawn into the darkness. By the pool. The man with blue eyes did nothing. Just like that, standing quietly on the edge of the pool, blue eyes staring at the pool, directly frozen into a lump of ice cloud dance. Occasionally, though, the brow seemed to wrinkle. Discontented, muttered, so weak. How long has it been? I don't know. Anyway, it seems that there is no time in this frozen world. Until a figure came outside the stone door outside the ice cellar. That has been staring at the man in the pool, that pair of godless blue eyes, and finally had fluctuations. Turn around and walk out. Brush. The stone door opened and the chill came from the ice cellar. However, the boy who came in didn't seem to have any discomfort with the chill. He was originally a Een body and had no body temperature. He didn't feel much about this degree of freezing. However, when I saw the light blue figure coming out, I frowned. Because of the chill on the man with blue eyes, even he had to retreat 3 feet. Youth mo by. Ray's sharp eye son of looking at that to walk out of man, deep cold voice ask away, is someone break in? In fact, when I saw the skin of the 6th level Warcraft outside, I saw the fighting trace with the cut purple tongue. He was certain that someone had broken in. The man with blue eyes, looking at Mo by for a long time without expression. Only then slowly opens the mouth, has. Hearing this, Mo Bai's eyes suddenly narrowed, who broke in? Give me the man. The man with blue eyes still has no expression, she is mine. It's very soft and there's no mood swings. It's like just stating your own answers. Mo Bai's facial expression a shen, sharp mouth sweeps toward that blue mao man, do you dare to disobey my meaning? Don't forget who you are blue eyes man that pair of eyes that have no spirit, but is not instantaneous cold stare at him. He didn't say anything, but the chill on his body seemed to pull down the surrounding temperature by more than 10 degrees in an instant. The cold and white fog rose. Mo Bai's face turned white under the chill, and he could not help but step back and stood outside the stone gate. She's mine. Blue eyes man is still the same sentence. The sound is still so gentle. But at that moment, ink white but feel out, Blue Mao Man voice of that calm unexpectedly seemed to exist in emotion fluctuation. He, a lifeless iceman, has emotions? Mo Bai was surprised. But then, a bad feeling came from my heart. Sharp eyes, suddenly narrowed a warning. If you dare to let others take the things you want to protect, even if I can't help you, my father will certainly let you go. Blue Eyes Man smell speech, seemed to be in meditation. Half a ring. Blue Eyes Man lift eyes, blue eyes and brush a touch of streamer, the next moment, hand a brush. Hoo a cold wind swept by. As soon as Mo Bai's face changed, his figure fell back subconsciously. But he stepped back, but directly out of the ice cave's stone door. And it was then. Bang! The stone gate, directly in front of him, was heavily closed. Outside the stone gate. Mo Bai's face at this time, not to mention how ugly. He was kicked out. This has never happened. Damn it! What happened? Who is the intruder? How can an iceman without any emotion for 100 years produce such emotional behavior? Mo Bai's eyes were staring at the stone gate, and his fists clenched, which could only suppress his anger. For the man with blue eyes, he has no ability of positive suppression. It seems that his father can only come in person. The next day. Early in the morning. In the towns of the border cities of the Three Kingdoms, another great news began to spread. I'm afraid that news will soon cause a sensation in the Three Kingdoms. Because Summoner disappeared for hundreds of years, appeared. It's just outside Nanshan on the border of Longshu State. The summoner is not only a young girl, but also a member of 4 departments. The fighting capacity is so strong that it almost reaches the level of Wuzuan. And it was the Dragon Shugua, more than a dozen students of the Dragon Sky Warrior Academy, who spread the news. Yesterday. More than a dozen students who saw the battle with their own eyes rushed back to the college and quickly spread the news. However, the news of the national teacher was tacitly understood by more than a dozen students, and they didn't mention it directly. You know, they are the people of Long Shugua. If the secret of the national master is leaked, it is hard to guarantee that he will be killed or retaliated. Therefore, more than a dozen people directly avoid the heavy and pick up the light. As soon as the news comes out, it will spread 10 times, and it will spread 100 times in some cases, of course, some are exaggerated. However, the news soon spread among the 3 countries. In the imperial city of Zhou Dynasty. General Yun's mansion. When the news came quickly. Yunqi, who is closing the Jingxin garden, is ecstatic as soon as he hears the news. Almost on the spot, they laughed. The laughter is so big that it can spread all over Yunfu. That can make the spies who come to spread the news be stunned. Old master, what's the matter? Is it exciting to hear that there is a summoner in Longzuguo? It's not that. The old man has not asked about the affairs of the government for a long time, so he won't be in such a big mood. Of course, this spy will not know. Yunqi is overjoyed because he finally has the news of the girl. What's more, the girl has become a summoner. Summoner of the 4th department. It almost reached the level of Wuzuan. I'm afraid no one knows better than him what that means. How can this not make him ecstatic? It's just that. With that girl's steady temperament, she should not show her ability without words and reasons. The only possibility is that she had to use her own strength when something happened to her. I don't know. What happened to her? Now, are you still in Longzuguo? After this mood calms down, Yunqi can't help but feel a little impatient. Immediately, also with that spy order way. Go down. By the way, tell your General Yunda to clean up and come out with me. The cloud general in his mouth is naturally Yunlungi. Last time, because he didn't go looking for Yunwu, Yunqi has been angry with him until now. However, no matter how angry it is, it's father and son. However, on the other side, in the underground ice cellar, the man with blue eyes turned back to the bath after sending away the ink white. He stood quietly on the edge of the bath, staring at the ice sculpture like cloud dancing in the pool. Day after day. How many days later? The man with blue eyes has no idea of time. In his memory, there is no concept of time, in addition to open eyes staring at the ice in a daze, that is, close your eyes to sleep. Now, come such a human, he opened his eyes to the object in a daze, also became her. It's just that. In the pool, the frozen clouds. At this time, he has gradually absorbed the ice on his body. Yes. It's absorption. See, that originally cover on her body, a big lump of ice, has gradually melted. Can melt out of that water liquid, but it is bit by bit into her body. However, it seems that because of her clothes, the water that seeps into her body is obviously a little slow. That's why, after so many days, it hasn't been absorbed. However, regarding that blue-eye man, he does not care. Anyway, in addition to closing his eyes to sleep, he was staring at her in a daze. That pair of blue eyes, is still no expression. Can be staring at her these days, but it seems to gradually have a tiny different. As for what's different, some can't tell. The time in the ice cellar is still so quiet and lifeless. After consciousness is pulled black, Yunwoo felt as if she had fallen into a deep sleep for a long time. When she recovered her consciousness, she's already in chaos. The rain, like the torrential rain, splashed over her head. The raindrop touched the skin, cold, straight let cloud dance feel all cold want to shiver. Skin. Just when Yunwoo instinctively reached out and rubbed his arm. The touch of the physical entity made the cloud dance stunned for a moment. What's going on? Then, Cloud Dance quickly bowed his head, when clearly see his hands and feet. Another shock. Subconsciously, he pinched his arm. When that clear came to eat pain feeling, suddenly let Cloud Dance eyes are staring big. How is she, her body, in the Palace of Chaos? Although, she often enters the Chaos Temple, but, that is only the consciousness enters. But at this time, she even came in. What's going on? Cloud Dance at this moment, is really a little dumbfounded. Isn't she frozen into ice by the man with blue eyes and thrown into the pool full of cold water? After that, her memory fell apart. How come when she wakes up, she comes into the Hall of Chaos? After thinking for a long time, I really can't understand what happened. In the end, I didn't think much about it. Now that you're in, go and see the black fog. Second door. Death Gate. Cloud Dance in the heart read a move, the body directly disappeared, the first door space, directly into the dark dead door. However, compared with the first time to the depression. This time, Yunwoo felt so relaxed and even had a sense of belonging. It's strange. However, Cloud Dance did not explore. But as soon as I entered, I looked at the corner. I saw that the huge figure of Hyo was still shrouded in black fog and nailed to the ground by long nails. At this time. Black proud Lo Su cold voice, from the corner. The body can come in. It seems that you are really lucky. Good luck. Yunwoo didn't quite understand, but he still asked. Are you okay? Is there any way to take those nails off your body? Last time, she was conscious. She couldn't help it. Now, her body came in. Maybe she can pull out the nails. When Yunwoo thought about it, her steps came closer. But as soon as he got close, he was bounced out by a resistance. It's no use. After a while, it will be relieved. Will nature lift it? Yunwoo looked at the huge figure in the corner, shrouded in black fog, and felt that it was not so simple. By the way, I forgot to tell you something. You look for your space. Last time, in the palace fire, I collected a box for you. The contents should be what you need. Black proud low voice comes again. Last fire. After hearing the words, Yunwoo immediately moved his mind and consciousness into the space bracelet. 7 color gems, 7 spaces. For a long time. Finally, in the messy space, turned out a little familiar with the small box. This box is exactly the same as the box that was snatched from housekeeper Wu and Lu Qingyue. The clouds frown. However, with a flash of silver needle, it is still easy to unlock. Not surprisingly, there was a small piece of sheepskin in it. Second, the treasure map of the summoning temple. Cloud Dance looked at the missing picture in her hand, and her hand couldn't help tightening. It seems that the queen has been collecting the treasure map of the summoning temple. It's just that the fire was in the Longsan residence. How could this box and then? Also didn't wait for Cloud Dance too much meditation, black proud voice suddenly deep spread. Go out. There's another piece under the pool outside. When you get it, leave here immediately. Another piece. Cloud Dance smell speech, Zheng Leng a second. However, it also quickly reflected. The outside world. The man with blue eyes on the edge of the pool, looking at the Cloud Dance that suddenly disappeared from the ice, frowned tightly. It seems that some people don't understand how human beings suddenly disappeared. Ice will melt into water. Does human beings melt into water? It's impossible. How can the water in this pool melt people into water? The man with blue eyes frowned, as if he had been thinking about this problem. Until, under the ice, the figure of Cloud Dance appears again. The man by the pool, in his godless blue eyes, flashed a rare emotion. Where did you just go? This question is like asking the Cloud Dance under the ice. However, no one answered him. Because, as soon as Yunwu came out of the Chaos Hall, he couldn't care about the cold. Hold your breath. As soon as you turn over, you will break the ice and sink. Hyo said that there is a treasure map under the pool, which is sure to be correct. She already has 2 pieces. If you add the one in the pool, it will be 3. If you get another 4 maps of the location of the 4 treasure maps recorded on the Dragon Scroll, you can make up 7. The remaining 5 should not be hard to find. Just put together 12 pieces. Then we can locate the remains of the Calling Temple. She wants to be strong enough to be in this continent, not to be bullied by anyone, except cultivation. I'm afraid the only shortcut is in the Calling Temple. Today, she is not afraid to take a shortcut, even if the risk index reaches its peak, she will definitely try. Because, in this continent, the only terrible thing is that the strength is too weak. The world of the jungle. If she doesn't want to see anyone around her, get hurt. The only way is to have enough strength. As soon as Yunwu's body sank into the depth of the pool, he found that there was a hole in the bottom of the pool. Under the deep water, the chill disappears and the sky is blue. What surprised Yunwu was that the deeper the water was, the thicker the aura of heaven and earth was. Even the water can feel the thick aura of heaven and earth. What does it represent? It seems that you don't have to guess. I'm afraid the real treasure in this ice cellar is under this pool. Cloud Dance at that moment, without any hesitation, the water element wrapped itself, and quickly dived toward the depth of the pool. Hua hua. Just, is trying to swim to the depths of the cloud, it seems that suddenly feel behind, something jumped into the water. Is it the man with blue eyes? He turned his head and swept his eyes behind him. In the blue water, he didn't see any figure. No one. Is it that she's oversensitive? There was a little doubt in Yunwu's heart. However, he used both feet to swim deep. But at this moment, Yunwu's face suddenly changed. Because, she felt, an arm wrapped around her waist, strong and cold. Turn around. See that light blue transparent figure, don't know when, unexpectedly at her side. She didn't see anyone. How come in the twinkling of an eye, you can't get in yourself, I'll take you. Just when Yunwu's face was shocked, a man's voice came from his ear. I didn't wait for Yunwu to react. Wow! The sound of breaking the water at high speed is just beside the Cloud Dancing ear. At that moment, Yunwoo didn't see everything around clearly, only felt a blue light brush passing quickly. By the time she recovered, she had reached the bottom of the water. What I saw in front of my eyes made Yunwoo fall into a daze for a moment. The dark blue curtain is full of glittering fluorescence, just like the stars all over the sky, beautiful and delicate. And dotted with the glittering fluorescence is the colorful coral water plants. This place is extremely beautiful. All around is filled with a breath of incomparable vitality. Is it such a world in the depths of a frozen pool? Who can imagine? Do you want that thing when you come in? When the cloud dance signs Len to look around, the ear but spreads that blue Mao man's voice. Follow his finger, cloud dance turns a Mao to look. Not far away, in a colorful coral water plant, there is a white ice with a big box. On the box, there is an ancient prophecy carved. It's similar to the prophecy on the box used by the queen. That should be it. However, Cloud Dance has no action. Instead, he turned his head and looked at the translucent blue-eyed man around him and asked, "Are you going to stop me? Although, I don't know what species he is. However, if he can be in this ice cellar, he can probably guess that his existence should be guarding these things. But, I don't know why, he didn't mean any harm to her from the beginning. Even taking her to the bottom of the pool." Blue Eyes Man smelled speech, but didn't immediately open mouth, but eyes staring at that piece of white ice for a while. Half a ring. He turned to stare at the cloud and said, "If you are with me, I will give it to you." With him? Cloud Dance frowns, looking at him. What do you mean? Live with me. Blue Eye Man face has no facial expression of reply way. Living together. This, Cloud Dance eyes and slightly sink. However, in that second, an aura passed. Pursed tight red lips, suddenly outlined slightly, is not, as long as you live together, you are willing to do anything. Blue Eyes Man smell speech, don't nod also don't shake head. Just with his blue eyes, quietly staring at her, strange and strange. However, in this moment of Cloud Dance, but not too much hesitation. Heart read a move, almost in an instant, low voice. Water system, the battle of contract. At that moment, a dazzling color light flashed. The strong atmosphere and mysterious array suddenly surged up from their feet. When feeling the breath, the man with blue eyes frowned. But at that moment, the Cloud Dance in the array and the man with blue eyes, in the moment of staring at the eyes, the consciousness seems to be instantaneously linked together. I made a contract, and from now on you will be my contract beast, contract. Cloud Dance low voice of fall, purple pupil inside, a blue light flit by. At the same time, the array under their feet suddenly burst into blue light at that time. Under the dazzling blue light, between the two, it seems that a unique connection channel has been formed instantaneously. The light gathered and gradually turned into a blue light, which split into two. A shot into the blue eyes after the man eyebrows. Another, also shot into the cloud eyebrow. On the fingers, a light blue light gathers. In an instant, it turned into a blue ring and put it on Yunwoo's finger. At that moment, Yunwoo clearly felt that the water element in her body had changed strangely. I can see that in the water blue element, there seems to be a thin layer of ice. However, the contract was reached. The information about the man with blue eyes poured into her mind. It turned out that the man with blue eyes in front of him did not belong to the water system. It's an ice system that never existed in this continent. He's not human, he's not animal. Just by absorbing the aura of heaven and earth under the ground, it was transformed from the white ice of the spirit. His noumenon is actually the white ice soul just seen by Yunwoo. No name, no surname, and I don't know where it came from. But since I remember, I have lived in this underground water. 100 years ago. When the national teacher found him, he tried to subdue him, but he didn't succeed. After that, he built an ice cellar for him to live in. In exchange, he wanted to protect a box for the national master. He is a piece of ice soul, no one's 7 emotions, no mood. The first person I saw was the national teacher. So the exchange lasted for 100 years. Until she broke in. For the first time, he smelled so good from a human. Although, in his eyes, she is weak. But her breath was much better than that of the national teacher, which made him feel very comfortable. He liked it very much. Just want to be with her. So, when he felt that she had set the contract to bind him, he did not resist. A contract is a smooth contract. However, Cloud Dance doesn't know that this ice spirit gathers the aura of heaven and earth. The ice spirit of the king of ice and snow has a great future. Now, of course, even Bing Pa doesn't know his origin. Let alone Cloud Dance. However, it is only 10% of the contract. Originally in the water translucent blue eyes man, but in the ice soul into the body, and condensed into a real human form. Still blue eyes, white hair, fine features. But that pair of originally godless blue eyes, but has a look, pupil is that ice soul shape. The whole person seems to have changed, even the gas field is different. But at this time. Boom! Above the ice cellar, suddenly came the sound of vibration. The sudden shock, let Cloud Dance Aleng, can't help but look up, looking up. What's the matter? He's here. He's calling me out. Blue Yu low cold voice, very calm of say. He, of course, refers to the national master, Mo Yibing. Cloud dances to pick eyebrow, turn Mao to see the big box on the eye that coral, the eye ground quietly one wipe undercurrent to flash. But soon. With a brush in her hand, she put the big box of the ancient totem into space. Then let him wait. You have such a thick aura here. Is there anything else? Cloud Dance sees to Blue Yu of ask away. Anyway, if you want to leave, take all the good things with you. So as not to take advantage of the national teacher. Blue Yu hears speech, also ignore the vibration that comes from above. He pointed to the place where the box had just been placed, the stone under the coral. Stone? Cloud Dance immediately cast the vision in the past. I saw that under the colorful coral, there was a little raised stone. However, it seems that it is nothing special with the stones under it. However, Blue Yu all said, that certainly can't be vulgar. Yunwu reaches out and tries to get rid of the corals. But as soon as she touched her hand, a sharp pain came from her fingertips. Blood, oozing from her fingers. As soon as she entered the water, Yunwu saw that there was a faint golden light in her blood. What's going on? However, don't wait for Cloud Dance to be stunned. At this time, Blue Yu but a forward, grasped her that hand, send directly to the mouth. This action, let Cloud Dance directly is a sign Leng again. When the reaction comes over, the corner of the mouth takes out. In a moment, it was a force, and he pulled his hand back from his mouth. Frown at, that face, enjoy, Blue Yu. What are you doing? The Blue Yu hears the sound, as if just came back from that sweet silk delicacy. That pair of ice soul blue eyes, deep like looking at the clouds, lightweight, delicious. Delicious? This sentence makes Cloud Dance feel messy in the wind. He said, isn't Numenon a piece of ice? It's not Warcraft. Do you like to drink human blood? However, just now her blood was stained with golden light. What's the matter? When Yunwu thought about it, his mind was already looking inside. Before, after coming out of Chaos Hall, she thought about the treasure map that Hyo said, so she didn't pay more attention to her own changes. But this is not the case. But let Cloud Dance the bottom of my heart tremble, purple pupil pass a touch of surprised color. I saw that the veins and muscles in her body were dyed with a layer of golden light. Mysterious and sacred. Inexplicably, let her feel, there is a very noble pride, gradually rising from the bottom of my heart. Suddenly there is a strange feeling of superiority. How could that be? You have awakened the third witchcraft power of the witches, and your blood has been purified, so your body can enter the Chaos Hall. Cloud Dance heard the black proud words in her mind, but she couldn't react for a moment. The third power of witchcraft? Is blood purified? Why, she didn't feel anything. Think about the first and second awakening before, the agony. But for the third time, I didn't feel anything. Although you have awakened the power of witchcraft for the third time, you are not the opponent of the man above. Black proud but at this time, and added such a sentence. But it is also this sentence, let Cloud Dance wake up completely. All the feelings of consternation seemed to disappear in an instant. Yes. Now, it's not the time for her to be surprised and delighted by her slight change. Gather your mind. Cloud Dance immediately slants ahead, toward nearby Blue Yu. Ask away. Lan Yu, what's the matter with these corals? Just now her hand, obviously felt bitten by something. But the coral doesn't look different. Lan Yu's eyes, from the beginning, seemed to be very curious, looking at the Cloud Dance of mood fluctuation. However, when she asked, she replied, that coral is alive, just drive them away. When Lan Yu said that, he already reached out and brushed the corals. Brush, sharp like the ice, straight hit the colorful coral. See, that coral in a feel that ice. Immediately with a long foot-like, brush surging up. In the twinkling of an eye, you can see that the colorful coral water plants just disappeared in an instant. The speed is so fast that Cloud Dance is a bit silly. However, just at this time, Yunwu suddenly felt a tight waist. Wait for Yunwu to look down. But see that wrapped in her waist purple willow, Shua left a shadow, straight after those corals. It's like chasing prey. In an instant, it disappeared. That's poisonous. Be careful. Here, suddenly came the voice of Blue Yu. He has said this sentence for the second time. But Yunwu didn't pay much attention to it. Because, its root, are still rooted in her body and abdomen. This purple and red willow is just a branch. No matter how poisonous it is, it doesn't seem to poison Ben Jen, does it? However, at this time of Cloud Dance, the corner of the eye actually swept that before coral shrinks in the stone position. His eyes suddenly brightened. Because, as soon as she saw the stone, the tornado was in her mind and gave her a message. Cold ice jade. Frozen for thousands of years and jade for thousands of years, it has the power of condensing the aura of heaven and earth, and can consolidate the foundation of cultivation. It is the most precious medicine for cultivation and cultivation. No wonder she said that the water here has such a strong aura. It turned out that it was the cold ice jade that gathered the aura of the earth. This is a rare treasure. Good. She took it. The cloud dances the corner of the mouth to smile, to lift up, then turn ahead, toward Blue Yue. Help, dig it out for me. Anyway, Chaos Hall is also a good place to gather the aura of heaven and earth. If there is such a piece of ice jade, it would be more perfect. However, Cloud Dance that words fall, but let Blue Yue Leng dig it out. I'm afraid it's the first time that he has a silly look. Cloud Dance nods, yes, such a good thing, can't cheap that national teacher. She's here to take the good things. Even if a grass has some value, she will never leave it. If she can't take it away, it will be destroyed. Lan Yu frowned, as if thinking for a while, then nodded, well, you leave here first, I'm afraid I'll hurt you when I do it. As for the weakness of Cloud Dance, he seemed to feel that it was too weak from the beginning. Cloud Dance is a bit depressed. Isn't it just a small piece of cold ice jade as big as the tabletop, which can also hurt her? However, Lan Yu seems to feel what Yunwu thinks. Leaning over her head, her blue eyes looked at her leisurely and said, this stone extends the whole underground. If it is dug out, it will collapse directly here. What? The whole ground? Hearing Lan Yu's words, Yunwu can't help but look down at the ground. No wonder she said that the stones all around look the same. It doesn't seem to make much difference. It turned out that they were all ice jade. God, if this is really the whole ground is frozen jade, what does it mean? Think about it. The cloud dances in that pair of purple pupil, can't help but skim of fanaticism. In a moment, Gulip grinned at Lan Yu and said, okay. Lan Yu, no matter what method you use, you can dig out what I don't have left. She didn't believe it. With the cold ice jade, which can grow the magic medicine and the treasure of cultivation, she will not be able to create a killer group that can shake the mainland of China. She knew it was hard to fight 4 punches in one hand. In that case, she will see that it's the terror of the Beast Gate. Or is she the top killer in the 21st century? The trained killer corps is terrible. In the ice cellar. At this time, Mo Bai is following his father, Mo Yebing. Stand by the pool. Just now, they searched all over the ice cellar, but no one was there. The only possibility is that the intruder was brought into the pool by the iceman. The cold ice in this pool. 100 years ago, when Mo Yebing discovered the abundant aura of heaven and earth here, he came into contact with this pool of water. Even when he entered it, it was directly frozen into ice. Not to mention diving into the pool. After that, Mo Yebing can only reach an agreement with the iceman. Let the iceman put his things down there to preserve and protect the aura of heaven and earth. And he, to provide him with this place to build a castle refined space. For 100 years, we have been at peace. But he didn't think about it, just when he was closed because of the conflict between the two forces in his body. But came the news that someone broke in and the iceman became emotional and refused to give up. As soon as Mo Yebing got out of the pass, he immediately came with people. The iceman had no 7 emotions and 6 desires, but he was emotional and refused to give up the intruder. Mo Yebing is worried about the variables. It also brought some people to prevent accidents. According to the past. As long as he comes and sends out a vibrating message, the iceman can't be quiet. Is there really something wrong? Mo Yebing frowned and looked at the cold pool. Dad, the iceman refused to come out all the time. What should I do? Our things are still with him. Ink White sharp eyes flicker streamer, also staring at the pool said. A few days ago, he was annoyed by the iceman's driving out, and it still exists. Ink Night Ice smell speech, Mao bottom also seemed to sink. Yes. What he worries about now is whether his things are still in good condition. It seems that the iceman can't be called out without a big stir. In the dark night, Bingxin thought about it, and suddenly transferred the power in her body. A strange powerful force, obeyed her feet and stomped hard towards the ground. Boom! A burst of earthquake-like vibration, instantly spread in the whole space. That big movement, almost let the Mo Bai of one side also some don't stand a footstep. However, with this kind of big noise that is about to collapse here, I don't believe the iceman. I can't help it. Really. It's just under the shaking. Wow! All of a sudden, a sound came out of the water. 2 figures appeared in front of the father and son. However, at that moment, the blue light flashed by and disappeared directly in front of them. Ink Night Ice with Ink White, I bottomally want to escape. However, it is at this time. Click, click. A quick cracking sound came from the feet of Mahist father and son. When you look down, both father and son turned pale. There are countless cracks on the ground. At a fast speed, the whole space is covered with brush. It's the space that's going to collapse. Just 1 foot, really empty the whole space. So powerful. Let's go. Ink Night Ice is almost instantaneous, a grab around Ink White, body shape flash out. He left in the direction of Sherman. But the 2 figures just flashed out of the bath, and the bang of the collapse came from behind them. Boom! There was a huge crash, almost in an instant. The speed was so fast that people were caught off guard. Outside the cave, more than a dozen people with masks and black robes took off subconsciously when they felt the sudden vibration of the ground. And they didn't jump up for a while. The whole area is within 100 meters of the ground. Boom. It's a big noise. All of a sudden, a dull sound of collapse came from the ground. Wait for the dust to settle. What appeared in front of me was a deep pit, a huge pit. If you look down like that, you can't see the bottom. You can imagine how deep that is. What's going on? What happened? More than a dozen black-robed people who are completely confused about the situation. Looking at the scene in front of me, a surprise flashed through my eyes. However, but at this time, a blue light from the deep hole under the leap. A chill came to my face. The dozen black-robed people in mid-air thought they were the national teachers. But then, another black light and shadow jumped up from the deep hole again. And in that moment, a strong black light, extremely fast towards just that takeoff and out of the blue light attack. What are you doing? Stop them! A voice of deep anger, like an amplifying voice, spread quickly. More than a dozen black-robed people responded to this. It's a fight. More than 10 figures, without any hesitation, swished toward the blue light. Under the black light, the blue light flashed quickly. At that moment, the black-robed man immediately surrounded the blue light. The road was stopped, and the two men immediately fell towards the forest under the blue light. On the first day, Lan Yu can't help but frown and reach out to cover her sight. It's like I'm not used to the harsh light and temperature outside. What is it? It's dazzling, said the cold voice. Cloud Dance looked at the black-robed man who followed the volley and surrounded them, and the cold light at the bottom of his eyes was gloomy. But he still said, it's the sun. Just squint and get used to it. However, it was just after the words of Cloud Dance came down. Ink Night Ice father and son, has stood in the air, eyes cold incomparable fell on her body. It's you Ink Night Ice see Cloud Dance, the eye ground that sun kill of extremely cold, almost is in the instantaneous lift. Mo Bai's brow is wrinkled, and his eyes pass by. The meaning is complicated, you dare to come back. Cloud Dance smell speech, the corner of the mouth cold up outline. Why can't I come back? However, I didn't expect to come back this time, and I have gained quite a lot. See, Cloud Dance that words, instantaneous let Mo Yi Ice facial expression changed. The sharp eyes turn to the blue you instantly, and the voice is extremely cold, where's my thing? Things? Without waiting for Lan Yu to make a sound, Cloud Dance's laughter rang out, haha, do you think, in this situation, where can your things be? Mo Yebing's breath seemed to fluctuate violently in an instant. Hand over the things and leave you a whole body. Otherwise, I'll let you fall into pieces. At this time, his voice was tinged with a sense of horror and killing that seemed to climb out of hell. I could see that the contents of the box seemed very important to him. Unfortunately, it's impossible to spit out when you enter the Cloud Dance pocket. What's more, she just wanted to make him angry. The more angry the better. Thousands of pieces. Haha, it's a good way to die, but... At this point, Yunwu burst out laughing, the cold light in Zitong sank, and his voice was extremely cold, I'm afraid you old things don't have that ability. Provocation? Just think of it as a confrontation with him. Really, at the moment when the words of Cloud Dance fell. Ink Night Ice has always been cold and expressionless face, such as the wind and rain that was infected by the attack, the fury of killing set off. Good, good. When I twist your sharp teeth one by one, I'll let you see if our teacher has the ability. As soon as the angry voice fell, the black air rose in the air. The temperature in the air continues to drop. In an instant, the figure of Moibing has been attacked by the strange and fierce Cloud Dance. Lan Yu. Also at that moment, Cloud Dance cold drink. She turned into a blue light and went away. Cold sharp ice, as if even the air can be frozen. When Mo Yibing reacts, her face suddenly changes, but the speed is too fast to stop the car. Whoosh! Under the blue light, Mo Yibing and his whole body's black air were frozen into a lump of ice in front of the cloud dance. All the movements are frozen. This scene surprised everyone present, including that Mo Bai. Lord. Dad. In this second, Yunwu did not hesitate. At the moment when the ice in the ink night freezes, Guwu de Geo instantly vacates, and thunder elements force into it. Wield a knife, under the fierce power, ruthlessly cut down the ice in front of him. It's the only time she can do it. Brush. Click. The sound of the wind is accompanied by the sound of the ice breaking. As soon as the knife fell, a strong breath directly bounced the sword away. Cloud dance in that moment, face suddenly a change. Almost at that moment, even the reaction is too late, the attack of black gas has hit in front of us. Fortunately, a blue light instantly shrouded her. But the body, however, was still under the black air and directly flew out. As for your little trick, you should talk wildly in front of your own teachers. Hum ink night ice that extremely cold disdain voice, cold of spread. But the next second, his figure, breaking through the ice, suddenly caught up with Yunwu. But not immediately. Although you are a summoner, you forget that whatever you have contracted, no matter how strong your strength is before, once contracted, your strength will be balanced by its owner. This sentence, Mo Yibing seems to be in the general sarcasm, in front of the face of the cloud coldly said. Originally, just at the moment of being frozen, Mo Yibing felt it. 100 years ago, the terrible ice force weakened, and it was not even a little bit weak. And the only thing that happens is that it's contracted. How can Cloud Dance not know? But, surrounded by the people of the Beast Gate, and the father and son, it's impossible to make a positive balance. The only chance she could escape was just that moment. However, the final defeat in her strength is too weak. Her weak, let blue you strength, didn't really send out. Damn it. But just then. You want to hurt her? Under the blue light, the figure of Lan Yu gradually appears clearly. Ink night ice looking at blue Yu, eyes dangerous squint, gloomy way. You and I have been friends for 100 years. As long as I return my things, maybe I can look at your face and consider giving her a way to live. The blue Yu stares at him, the blue light is light to flash, in a twinkling of an eye, the figure stood in front of Mo Yibing. And this action, along with the trend will Cloud Dance to block behind. She is mine, your thing she likes, that is her, no one can hurt her, including you. When Lan Yu said this, he didn't have much emotion, as if he was just stating a fact. He doesn't have a feeling for 100 years of friendship. In his eyes, the ink ice in front of him was just the first human he saw, that's all. And Cloud Dance is special. Ink night ice smell speech, see his that facial expression, unusual ugliness. What she likes is her. However, it is obvious that it is a bit foolish to negotiate with an iceman. What feelings can you have for an iceman? In that case, don't blame me for beating you back. Mo Yibing's voice is very cold. But the words are still not down, his hands have turned into bones, extremely fierce, ruthlessly throughout the blue Yu body. Immediately, the horizontal sky raises, directly throughout the blue Yu body. This scene is so familiar. It's just what he did to the dragon a few days ago. But also this scene, let Cloud Dance mind flashed, that day in the Dragon Qing evil roof to see. It's a big blow. A very angry, no sign of burning from the bottom of my heart. Do it, come at me. Extremely cold cheers, yells from the angry Cloud Dance mouth. Holding the hand of Guwu broadsword tightly, the body shape has quickly attacked the past. She really doesn't want to see people around her hurt for her. Schwa. The sound of the knife whistling through the air. But no matter how fast she is, in Mo Yibing's eyes, she looks like a child. Because he's been closed for a few days. Has been completely digested, a few days ago he inhaled in the body of the two opposing forces. Let his strength into a large section. Ink Night Ice easily a flash, raise a hand, that white bone's hand, directly intercepted Cloud Dance that waved down of ancient martial arts big knife. Looking at her, his mouth raised a sneer, many people are willing to block in front of you, but unfortunately, anyone who dares to block my way will be killed. If, in peacetime, with the silence of the Ink Night Ice, it is bound not to say these words. But today, he was really provoked by the girl in front of him. Yes. Then you'd better kill me now, or I'll tear you to pieces next time. Cloud Dance eyes angry stare at him. However, the Ink Night Ice smell speech, but not angry smile. Little girl, your tone is really crazy. In that case, I'll give you a ride after I accept your strength. Ink Night Ice eyes sharp flash, white bone clawing up, immediately want to go through the cloud belly. There is greed for the power of Cloud Dance. Last time, it was absorbed from the tendons in her hands. It was too slow. This time, directly from her abdomen dantian, one breath to absorb all her strength. Cloud Dance heart is surprised, this want to hide. But all of a sudden, it seems to think of something. Suddenly toward that mid-air prepare to turn body to attack of Blue Yu, hit a look in the eyes. And she, just like that, does not dodge, the corners of her mouth are strange and bloodthirsty. Poof! The voice of flesh and blood. Then, an abnormal smell of blood, soon diffuse in the air and open. At that moment, Mo Yibing's eyes widened in surprise. I saw that his white bone hand, as soon as it was close to Yunwu's abdomen, had not touched it. I don't know where the purplish red willows came out, and they directly penetrated my arms. And what scares him is, his arm, in a few seconds, became pitch black, including the white bone hand, also became black bone. It's not painful, but it's totally unconscious. He belongs to the Yin body, and the poison doesn't work for him at all. But in front of me, rustle. A strange rustle came from his arm. It's like eating his flesh and blood. Mo Yibing doesn't feel pain, but her face suddenly changes at that moment. Almost in that moment. With a flash of cold light, he raised his hand and cut straight to the purple willow in his arm. The knife cut into the bone and the branch was broken. The wicker fell to the ground, like a wounded snake, making a strange, hissing sound, which made people feel like goosebumps rising. However, immediately, I saw the purplish red wicker with a whoosh sound. Suddenly ran back to Cloud Waste. But Cloud Dance also took advantage of this moment, jumped up in the air, Blue Yu, go. A sound falls down, Blue Yu immediately embraces her. As soon as the blue light flashed away, it disappeared in mid-air. All around the black-robed people, including the black and white in mid-air. I didn't respond. It's on the ground. Mo Yibing, who had cut off his arm, looked at the direction where the blue light had disappeared, and his face was very angry with cold. Again. That young girl, unexpectedly once again under his eyelids escaped. This time, it's still in full view. With his current strength, it's really like a serious shame. However, in that Ink Night Ice full face haze anger. He seemed to feel something surging in the back of his hand. It turned out that there was a small section of willow, which was still in his arm, sucking his flesh and blood. In the dark night, Ice's eyes narrowed darkly. He reached out and dug into the wound on his arm in public. It was a bloody scene. And the smell of blood filled the air. Half a ring. Finally from the black arm flesh and blood, when the bare hand dug out that small section of the willow is still surging. Take a serious look. Only then discovered that on that willow, unexpectedly all has innumerable sharp teeth small mouth. It's like I'm still gnawing and eating. I'm not dead because of my broken limb. My life is still strong. Originally, Mo Yibing's face was very bad. Seeing this, he suddenly remembered that he had inadvertently obtained the information recorded in an ancient book. Is this looking at the hand that a small section of wicker, Ink Night Ice originally bad face, suddenly strange change. A moment later. Ha ha. A roar of laughter broke the air. The people in black around finally reacted. Can look at that not only didn't order them to chase, but suddenly burst out laughing Ink Night Ice. Everyone was stunned. What's going on? Is the Lord stimulated? The ink white in the air suddenly jumped down. Dad, how can you? However, did not wait for that Mo Bai to finish speaking. Mo Yebing suddenly turned around, and the hand holding the wicker immediately inserted into Mo Bai's heart. This scene stunned the people in black. The Lord's love for him is obvious to all people in the Beast Gate. But this is... As soon as it is far away from that area, Yunwu immediately lands in the air and chooses land. Yukong flight, too big target. If the National Master wants to catch up, he will be found soon. However, with the appearance and eyes of Yunwu at this time, it's too eye-catching. Therefore, after landing, Cloud Dance changed its appearance first. By the way, Lan Yu, who doesn't want to enter the contract ring, has been simplified a little. A girl of ordinary appearance, and a man of ordinary appearance with white hair. It doesn't look conspicuous. However, Lan Yu's white hair matched with her ordinary appearance set off her age. Together with Cloud Dance Station, it is estimated that it will be considered a father and daughter. The former national teacher didn't hurt you, did he? After finishing the makeup and serving, Yunwu looks at Lan Yu and asks. Although, the contract can link her and him with a special channel of communication. But for Lan Yu, I don't know if he is Bing's soul, or if he is stronger than her. Many of her feelings about him are vague. Lan Yu looks at the Cloud Dance, as if to her present appearance, feel very strange. But he said, no, he can't hurt me. In fact, he didn't know what injury was. In addition to no one's 7 emotions and 6 desires, he did not feel any pain. Although, with the Cloud Dance contract, so that his strength can only play a balanced range. However, the National Master could not kill him. Maybe, even he didn't know what death was. He just felt that the national teacher could not hurt him. But she's different. She's so weak. Even if, let her absorb the power of his ice soul, also only enhanced a little bit. It's too weak. If it's not the National Division's opponent, it will die. He didn't like the feeling. Seems to think of this, Blue Yu eyebrow frowned, staring at her, Wei, you, too weak. What? Yunwu was still thinking about what to do next. But suddenly, I heard him say this. What do you mean? Is she too weak? Suddenly, Yunwu felt a burst of desire to cry and no tears rose. However, at this time. But Lan Yu pointed to a certain direction of the forest, looked at her and said, there are things to make you stronger. Deep in the forest. When Cloud Dance stands on the ruins, the mood is different again. For the 3rd time. It's the 3rd time she's standing here. I don't know if it's a bad relationship. This place, no other place, is the outer beast gate that has been destroyed. Is that what you said here? Cloud Dance looks at nearby Blue Yu, inquired. Originally, just escape from under the hands of the National Master, Yunwu intended to leave the southern Warcraft forest for the time being. At least, she didn't intend to come to her home until she became strong. But Lan Yu pointed to this direction and said that something could make her stronger. It said that something can make her stronger, even if it's Tiger's Den, Cloud Dance will also be hard to break through. What's more, it's the forest. It's just a little unexpected that he will return to the destroyed Beast Gate again. Blue Yu nods, pointed to that piece of ruins, is below. Next. Cloud Dance looked at the ruins that Blue Yu pointed to, went up, stretched out his hand to pick. How deep is it? Can we dig it out? Yes, but I can't get in. Lan Yu looks at the Cloud Dance and says a word. Can't you get in? Yunwu looks up at Lan Yu. What do you mean? Lan Yu wanted to open her mouth, but at this time, she suddenly frowned and raised her eyes to the air. That pair of ice soul blue eyes, ice swept. As soon as his body flashed, he stood beside Yunwoo. It means that he is a water system, and the things below are just like him. At this time, a gentle voice suddenly came from the air. In the twinkling of an eye, see that empty sky, a figure slowly appear. It's not someone else. It's the loftiness that says she owes her a favor, but doesn't show her face from beginning to end. It's you. You're just showing up in front of me. Seeing the sublime, Yunwoo's face sank, and his words didn't give face at all. Lofty gentle smile, after walking down from the air, looked at the blue you, also did not close to the cloud. I had a special identity, so it was not suitable for me to appear at that time. Speaking of this, after a pause, Gao Gao said, however, if you want something underground, I can give it to you as a favor. It's just that I need you to do me a little favor. Smell speech, Cloud Dance pick eyebrow. Help him. In terms of his strength, what else can I do for him? However, Yunwoo also raised his mouth and looked at him. Now you owe me a favor. You haven't returned any of your feelings, so you want to ask me for help. Little girl, don't worry. As long as you help me, I won't let you suffer losses. There will be no small benefits. You won't regret it. Noble and gentle, he said with a smile. Cloud Dance can't trust this sublimity. However, at this time, she really needs to be strong. Maybe, it's another bet. Little girl, how are you thinking? When Cloud Dance is silent, Sublime asks again. Yunwoo raised her eyes to meet him. I promise you, but I'll add another condition. Lofty pick eyebrow, what condition? After helping you, you have to do me a favor, just as mutual help, in that way, no one owes anyone. How about that? After hearing this, I didn't think much about it. It was very straightforward. Yes. Would you like to come in with me? Or, when I bring it out to you? Sublime means, of course, going underground. Cloud Dance looks blue and quiet. However, without waiting for her to speak, Lan Yu Shua and entered the contract ring on her finger. Obviously, let her in. Let's go. At this time, lofty figure in a flash, stood beside Yunwoo. Reach out, put on the shoulder of Cloud Dance, the figure of two people, disappear immediately in situ. The Cloud Dance hasn't reacted yet, and I feel the darkness in front of my eyes. When she came back, she was already standing in a cave. On both sides of the cave, there are wall lights. Although the light is dim, it can generally illuminate the surroundings. At a glance, we can see that this cave must have been dug by hand. I didn't think that there was such a cave underground. However, seeing this cave, inexplicably, Yunwoo suddenly thought of the cave in Hurricane Cliff. No, this cave is linked there, right? At this time, without waiting for Yunwoo to think about it, he heard several footsteps. Yunwoo's face sank. Sublime but smile, suddenly, see his hand a brush. A light white fog vacated and immediately shrouded them. Shoo. Just keep quiet. Keep quiet. Cloud Dance frowns at him, and at this time, a few people in black robes with masks come from the other side of the passage. When Yunwoo looked at them, they just couldn't see them, just walked past them. Cloud Dance can't help but be surprised. However, it soon became clear that it must be this noble ability. But, can let a person stealth, is the strength has reached what degree? Or what skills were used? Come on, follow me. After those black-robed people left, Gao Xing said with a smile to Yunwoo. There are several passages around the cave. As for where to extend, I don't know for a while. Along the way, I met many people in black. But the black-robed people seemed to be unable to see her. They walked half a column of incense, and finally stopped in front of the stone gate of a passage. Gao Gao turns his head and looks at the clouds behind him. With your blood, open the door by yourself. What? Open the door with her blood? The cloud dance obviously aleng, until, when the line of sight sees the ancient totem on that stone gate. That totem, too familiar. Because, from the 2 small boxes she got, there were such ancient totems. As like as 2 peas, it is almost the same carving. Just, how can that totem appear on the stone gate here? Little girl, don't be stunned. Hurry up. It's hard to let that person come back and take what you want. Sublime urges. Just now, you didn't say you could take it by yourself. You can open it without my blood, can't you? Although Yunwoo was surprised, he was not confused. Just now, the noble asked her whether she wanted to come down with him or himself. That means he can get it even if he comes down by himself. But when she got to the door, she said she wanted to use her blood and open the door herself. Isn't this a contradiction? Or, what's he up to? Sublime smell speech, immediately burst of helpless smile way, you little girl, sometimes, is really smart to make some crazy. He means, is he really calculating something? Cloud Dance suddenly narrowed his eyes, vigilance rose in the fundus of his eyes. Seeing her vigilance, Gao Gao sighed, forget it, you little girl, you are very suspicious. I'll do it myself. See to adore a master to turn, a jade bottle immediately appears in his palm. Then, the noble opened the jade bottle and poured the blood into a small slot in the stone gate. At that moment, a faint black light came out from the slot. The blood of the witches of the dark family. Cloud Dance in a see that light, eyebrows instantly wrinkle. It seems that she can feel the blood instinctively. It's a strange feeling. Sublime did not look back. It's the queen's blood saved from you. I left a little for use. At the same time, Sublime continues to extend the blood in the jade bottle to the other end along the notch. The black light on the door became more and more obvious. Smell the cloud dance of speech, pick eyebrow. Queen Snow Willows. Yunwoo didn't plan to ask him about the situation after he rescued Shuelyo. However, it seems that he had made preparations for it early in the morning. Was he prepared to come here before? However, at the time of Cloud Dance thinking. Click. The sound of a switch being activated. Cloud Dance can't help but withdraw mind, staring at the fan, gradually began to separate toward the 2 sides of the stone door. The faint black light still surrounds the stone gate. But the high temperature inside came at the moment when the stone door opened. It's very hot. However, when the heat came, Yunwoo felt the inexplicable surge in the blood. It's like something in the blood resonates with something in it. Go in, go in. It seems to feel that the temperature has been pouring out. As soon as he catches Cloud Dance, Sublime will flash in. As soon as they came in, the stone gates on both sides of them closed, isolating the heat that they wanted to pour out. Once inside the stone gate, the whole person is like entering the oven, the hot sweat is evaporated in an instant. But Yunwoo found that the loftiness around her didn't seem to be affected at all. So we can see the gap between the two. However, the cloud dance soon attracted attention from another scene. Behind the stone gate is a space of more than 100 square meters, with nothing. It's just a little fire floating in the middle of the sky. But it's just a small fire that lights up the whole space. It burns the temperature of the whole space. If ordinary people come in, they will be steamed directly by the temperature here. What you want is that one. Go and catch it and you can leave. At this time, Sublime also did not come forward, the Chaoyun dance said a word. Catch. I saw that, just under the lofty words, the small fire seemed to tremble, and the temperature around it obviously increased a lot. Is it conscious? Cloud Dance looked at the small fire in the mid-air, but didn't catch it as Lofty said. Instead, almost naturally, he reached out to it. Come here. Gentle words, careful like to treat children. And also in the Cloud Dance, the sound just fell. The little fire that floated in mid-air trembled again. Come here, I'll take you away. Cloud Dance steps forward, purple pupil eyes flash, quietly staring at the small fire, soft mouth. See, in her purple eyes flash, soft voice under. The small fire in mid-air, like a hesitation, really began to come down slowly. One side of the lofty, see this scene, can't help eyebrow pick. The fun disinterest deepened a bit. However, there was no action, just standing by and watching. When the small fire touched the palm of Cloud Dancing, the high temperature around obviously dropped in an instant. The warm touch makes Yunwoo's eyes soften. Good boy. Don't be afraid. After saying it softly, Cloud Dance's heart read a move, the group of small fire, to the income of the small stink of the fire within the contract ring. Though. Feel out, that regiment small fire, seemed to be able to enter her body blood, thus improve her strength. However, this time and place are not right. After putting away the small fire, Yunwoo turned around and looked at the noble. Let's go. In fact, just now she has been on guard. Who knows if there will be any calculation in this sublimity. However, he didn't do anything else, but he kept his word. Lofty gentle smile, hand a brush, white fog immediately and 2 people to cover. Don't make a sound. I saw that after a while, the stone gate was opened. 2 people in black robes with masks, as if feeling something, came from the door in a hurry. When I saw the small fire disappeared in the space, my voice suddenly started. The fire is gone. Come on, tell the Lord. When the 2 men in black opened the stone gate, Sublime and Cloud Dance are so above board. And left that cave, lofty with clouds, directly toward the direction outside the forest. Where to? Cloud Dance looked at the lofty leading the way ahead and asked. Although, promised to help him, but he did not say what to help him. Gao Gao didn't turn his head back, but still moved forward slowly. A small town at the junction of the 3 kingdoms, I'll take you to meet someone. Meet someone? Cloud Dance looked at him, is that what you want me to do? Yes, but you may have to be patient. When I get what I want, you will be safe and free. What do you mean? Cloud Dance frowned at his words. However, this meaning soon made her understand what it meant. Border town at the junction of the 3 kingdoms. This is a small town full of people. However, the only characteristic of this small town is that there are so many strange things. It's like a flowing market of 3 countries. As long as you can imagine, or even cannot imagine, almost can be seen in this small town, by when you come to this small town with nobility. Yunwoo could not help but be attracted by the things on the street. Little girl, this small town thing can only be regarded as a low-level thing. When you have the chance, go to the upper boundary and have a look, it's really a good thing there. Gao Xing seems to notice that Yunwoo looks at the sight of the streets around him with a smile. However, his words are thought-provoking. Cloud Dance smell speech, can't help but side head to see to him. Upper bound? Where is that? Lofty shrugged, but did not seem to answer her. Seeing that he opened the topic, but he didn't intend to answer, Yunwoo felt depressed at the bottom of his heart. However, since he did not answer, she did not keep asking. In that way, with Lofty, 2 people walk in such a very crowded street. It's just, very soon. Yunwoo found that everyone walked by her and gave her a strange look. I don't know why. People feel that there is a strange feeling that something is wrong all over. Cloud Dance frowned. However, it seems that there is nothing unusual about the sublime, and Cloud Dance temporarily suppresses the strange feeling. For a while. Gao Gao finally passed the market street and came to a more remote path. Along the way, the pace is very slow. It seems that they are heading for a house in front of them. By the way, why haven't you heard of such a small town at the junction of the 3 kingdoms before? What's the name of this town? At this time, the Cloud danced to sweep an eye all around, seemed very casually asked a sentence. When she just entered the town, she didn't see the font on the plaque. It's called Shanggu Town. This town has existed for thousands of years. However, the pestle is located in a special place. It's hard to find ordinary people. Sublime, that indifferent voice, inexplicably meaningful, said. Ancient town. Yunwu searched all the information in his mind, but it didn't seem to find any information. However, for his last words, eyebrows raised. Special? Cloud Dance can't help but turn his head and look at the Sublime. What's a special method? There are so many people coming and going in this town, aren't they ordinary people? Sublime smells speech, but suddenly laugh inexplicably profound. You girl, it's not easy at all. Don't try to talk for me again. There are some things that you don't know too much for you. At this time, the pace of Sublime has stopped. Alright, here we are. Cloud Dance wanted to say something, but at this time, it can only stop. I looked up at the ordinary hut in front of me. This is it. Well. Sublime in nodding, a hand brush. Suddenly, a rope lock came out of nowhere and tied her hands tightly. All of a sudden, Yunwu frowned. However, there was not much reaction. After helping you, don't forget what you promised me. Cloud Dance stares at Lofty, low voice to say. Lofty and gentle smile, rest assured. At the end of the speech, he reached over her shoulder. Bang! I saw that the door of the hut was suddenly opened by a force. The two figures at the door have turned into a flash of light. Luxury mansion, everywhere is glittering, there is a kind, fell into the money nest in general. When Yunwu is brought into the hut by Sublime. In front of all that, all in a twist, the earth-shaking changes. It turned out that what we saw outside was just a cover-up. The real house. It's resplendent and luxurious. The whole palace is like a big house with endless luxury. What kind of place is this? It's hard to understand. However, when Cloud Dance saw the situation inside, it couldn't help being surprised. In the living room. Just after Cloud Dance was sublimed, it didn't appear for a while. A middle-aged man came out of the back room slowly. As soon as he came out, the middle-aged man's eagle-like eyes were locked on Yunwu. In that line of sight, Yunwu frowned tightly. Because, she suddenly had a strange feeling of being watched by the wolf in the wolf's nest. This middle-aged man looks ordinary. He looks just like an ordinary man. But is it true? Naturally, it's impossible. Just because he can make a deal with Sublime, we can guess that he can't be as ordinary as he appears. You're late. You said 3 days. It's the 7th day. The middle-aged man swept around Yunwu before he took his eyes back and looked at the noble voice. There was a tone of dissatisfaction with the seller after looking at the goods. Sublime is still not slow, Sven said with a smile. It's really a little delayed, but she got it back from that Mo Yebing's hand. It seems that it's not surprising that she was delayed for a few days. See, ink night ice 3 words. The middle-aged man's face sank. But soon, the middle-aged man's sharp eyes flashed a smile. Good. Good. After 2 good words, the middle-aged man came forward. His eyes were burning, he looked at the Cloud Dance, and he wanted to catch it. However, before he touched his hand, Yunwu's figure had moved. Lofty looking at the middle-aged man, what do I want? The middle-aged man raised his eyes and frowned. However, he turned his head and made a sign to the attendant. Then, a servant came out with a wooden box in his hands and handed it carefully to the middle-aged man. This is what you want. After the middle-aged man handed the wooden box to Gao Chong, he quickly stretched out his hand and pulled Yunwu over. At the moment of being dragged by the middle-aged man, Yunwu's eyes flashed. However, it is also tolerable. However, as soon as he got close, he felt the breath of the middle-aged man, but Cloud brows tightened. Because, she actually felt a very familiar breath from him. Is it the witch clan? Is he a wizard? At the time of confirming the breath, a little surprise flashed from the bottom of Yunwu's heart. This is the third witch she met besides Shuoyo. according to the old man down the hurricane cliff. The witch people, are they all exterminated? Well, I've given it to you. You can go. As soon as the middle-aged man finished speaking, he grasped Yunwoo and was ready to leave. But it was then. Shwa! A flash of cold. In the twinkling of an eye, a dagger was on the neck of the middle-aged man. I saw that the rope lock, which was binding Yunwoo's hands, had disappeared. Cloud Dance coldly looked at the middle-aged man in front of him and said, "Are you a member of the witch family?" When the middle-aged man heard of it, his eagle eyes sank obviously, and a strange and inexplicable breath gradually surged up. It's true that she is the successor of the witch saint. She can feel it just by her breath. But soon, you won't be. When the middle-aged man said that, the pair looked at her eagle eyes, extremely hot and greedy. Not soon. What does he mean? However, at this time, Yunwoo suddenly felt that a strange breath gradually surrounded her, as if she was imprisoned. All the movements, they're stiff. How could that be? Yunwoo frowned tightly. But, the heart reads a move, is preparing to let Blue Yu come out of time. After checking the loftiness of the things in the wooden box, he finally said, "Mr. Jean, you are not right. You only give a part of the good things. Are you kidding me?" The voice was flat, but it was also at that moment. A white breath, directly on the Cloud Dance shrouded. The Cloud Dance, which was originally stiff, was immediately dragged back by a force. In the twinkling of an eye, Cloud Dance has been standing by the lofty side. All of a sudden, the middle-aged man, Mr. Jean, suddenly became cold. Canthus angrily looked at him. "Sublime, what do you mean? I see that people have already got it, but they haven't caught the heat yet. People have been taken back. How can we not be angry?" The gentle smile on Gao Gao's face has sunk. Strange eyes Yinsen stare at him. This sentence, "I want to ask you just right, say good things, you only give a part, is to want to lift my appetite." I saw that under the lofty voice, the oppressive force in the air was overwhelming. In an instant, the middle-aged man knelt down on the ground. Cloud Dance sees this, in the heart suddenly surprised. What is the point of this lofty strength? The pressure in the air made her feel difficult to breathe. Jean Lao, who was kneeling on the ground, looked very gloomy. But he was also shocked. What is only part of it? That's all I got. All? Sublime eyes under the cold, are you sure, this is all? Under the gloomy words, the oppressive force in the air seemed to increase several times again. Old Jin's forehead was already sweating. His face was flushed and his eyes were congested. This is really all I got. It seems that you are not going to make the deal. Sublime a cold fall, hand a brush. Bang! I saw that Jean Lao, who was oppressed on the ground, was directly hit by some force and flew out. It hit the pillar in the hall. This situation, but let the Cloud Dance that one side looks at, some sign lang. However, she is absolutely not stupid. How can we not see that there is something fishy about it? It's sublime. It's really high-minded. It's too high. Endure pain, from the ground to climb up the old gold, ugly face, raised his head, looking at the angry noble. There was some fear in my heart. At the beginning, he got such a thing. It seemed that it was really incomplete. But he did offer all that he had. But he can see that lofty at this time of mood fluctuations, seems to be really angry. What's more, with his strength and identity, he is unlikely to play tricks. Is that thing really lacking? Mr. Jean was puzzled. This is really all I've got. You. With your ability, don't you know that this is only part of it? You don't deal with me once or twice. You should be very clear about your temper. Before he finished, Sublime's gloomy voice had fallen. And sublime that words, but also with a thorn-like, directly stuck behind that gold old want to say all words. When you find all the things for me, I will give them to you. When he finished, he brushed his hand. In an instant, a rope lock trapped Yunwu, dragged her and left towards the door. Jean Lauru is dumb and eats coptis. Such as the eagle's eyes incomparable haze, watching the lofty with the clouds away. Full of stomach, with anger. But half a voice also did not pit, had to double fists tightly clenched, ruthlessly bit the root of the tooth. As soon as I leave that ancient town. Lofty then a whisk hand, that bind on the cloud dance body of rope, immediately turned into a white fog disappeared. Little girl, don't look at me like that all the time. I'll feel embarrassed. Lofty that face, restored that gentle smile again. Excuse me. Will he feel embarrassed? Yunwu loosened his bound hands and feet and glanced at him. I need to be careful when dealing with you in the future. It's as if I've heard something praising. Haha, with a smile, he seemed to be in a happy mood. You little girl, you can speak well, but this is what I taught you. In the future, you can rely on your wisdom. Many things cannot be solved by fighting and killing. With that, Sublime has put his hands on his shoulders and stepped forward to leave. Looking at the lofty leaving, Yunwu couldn't help frowning. But the next second, the elements of body style soared and caught up. Now that I'm busy, it's time to talk about the conditions with you. After hearing the words, Gao Gao suddenly said with a smile, if it's about your little man, it's unnecessary. His ability is far more than you think. You'd better think about your own problems. However, the cloud dances but the corner of the lip rises. Who said that my condition is related to him? For the dragon, she never looked down on her man, how can ability small? This time, Sublime is to pick next brow. Tell me about it. Cloud danced with his speed, turned his head to look at him, with your ability, you should know a lot about the witch clan, what I want you to help is actually very simple, that is, help me unseal it. Said, Cloud danced from the neck, took out the necklace. Gao Wei glanced over his head and stopped when he saw the necklace. There seems to have been a trace of surprise in the eyes. The holy things of the witches. It seems that he really knows a lot about the witches. Yes, it shouldn't be difficult for you to unseal it with your ability. Originally, Yunwu didn't intend to let others know. However, she tried to use her blood to unseal, but still failed. Bai Lao has been sealed for a long time. Sublime smell speech, double pupil Mao uncanny, look up to her, unseal it, really not difficult, but, you really are sure, let me help. Cloud dance frowns, what do you mean? Looking at her, Gao Gao suddenly gave a smile. You girl, but it's really interesting. However, it was just when he said that. Suddenly, a strong force, suddenly straight attacked to the cloud's chest. It's very fast. Almost did not give Yunwu the opportunity to react, her figure was directly hit down the land. Bang! Huge impact sound, from the ground, white dust raised. Wait for the dust to settle. I saw a deep pit on the ground of the grove. And the figure of Cloud Dance is half kneeling in the pit, his face white. As soon as I take a breath, my throat is sweet. Poof! A mouthful of dark red blood, immediately sprayed out. A lot of it splashed on the necklace around my neck. And at that moment, a scorching heat came out of the necklace around her neck. Straight melt destroyed that piece of clothing, scalded the skin under Cloud Dance's clothes. ZZ. Under the sound, spread a smell of burnt barbecue. It hurts. But for this degree of burning, for Cloud Dance, it's really only pediatrics. She just felt that she was very happy at the bottom of her heart. Because, at this moment, she really felt that the seal inside the necklace seemed to have been opened. Next. A black mist came out of the necklace. The light is so strong that it seems to cover the white sky into night. It's weird and powerful. The loftiness in mid-air, looking at this scene, the streamer in those two pupils, flickered secretly. Is this the power of the sorcerer's sacred objects? he whispered to himself. Half a ring. The sky, that dark clouds, dark light, seems to gradually begin to converge. When the sky is clear. The clouds in the pit on the ground, a faint black fog, surrounded her chest. As if, in the treatment for her just hit the internal injury. Ben's face had turned white. When the light completely disappeared, a white shadow also floated out slowly from under the black fog. At the sight of the white shadow, the cloud danced in surprise. White old man. White old man is still white beard, white hair, almost all white but in the moment of appearance. White old, that pair of benevolent eyes, but ferocious across anger. Strong black fog, in that instant, straight attack mid-air, that lofty and go. Bang! There was another loud crash. When Yunwoo leaped from the pit, he saw that there was another pit not far away. And originally a gentle noble temperament, at this time quite embarrassed standing in the pit, is patting the clothes on the body. What a violent spirit! However, the murmur of sublime fell. Bai Lao's figure had gone away, and he stood on the pit. He glanced at him coldly. You almost killed her. Lofty lift eyes, looking at that empty white shadow of white old. Then he made a volley and returned to the ground. Just helpless way, you old man, just wake up, don't ask me, how don't you ask her, this help you unseal who is. His words made Bai Lao squint. However, at this time Cloud Dance also walked forward, raised eyes to see that lofty. After the event, we're clear. It didn't explain much. As for this sublimity, the more you come into contact with him, it seems that he knows more than she thinks. How could he know the white spirit? This makes Yunwoo feel insecure. I also feel a kind of terror. She can't see him clearly, but he seems to be able to see through all her abilities. Lofty pulled to pull the corner of mouth, glanced at that white old, just saw I Cloud Dance. It's really clear. However, I promised that I would give you some benefits before, which naturally won't make you suffer. Said, Lofty did not know from where took out a jade bottle, after hand, threw toward her in the past. This is Zingyuan Shindan. With the fire you received before, you should be able to improve your strength. Girl, I hope we can meet again. Then I'll tell you something about your mother. Sublime before leaving, but suddenly left behind such a sentence. When Yunwoo wanted to ask clearly, his figure had disappeared in the sky. What does he mean? Tell her about her mother. Does he know her mother's whereabouts? Looking at the direction of lofty departure, Cloud brow tightly screwed up. Although, the last sentence left by Gao Gao really affected Yunwoo's mood. However, Bai Lao was relieved of the seal, which made Yunwoo happy. With Bai Lao, on this lost road in a strange world, it is equivalent to having a lamp. Yunwoo is in the contract with the holy things of the witch family. Thus, from Bai Laoku, she also knew a lot about the witch clan. However, this did not make her a little relaxed, on the contrary, let her feel the pressure on the shoulder, it seems to have increased a bit. Witches. For this world, it is a sacred group. But in the eyes of Yunwoo, it is like a heavy burden. Since when, she has changed from a killer without any concern to the hope of the whole witch clan. In fact, even Cloud Dance itself does not know. However, the only thing she knows now is to make her strength stronger. So, since that day, Yunwoo didn't rush to go anywhere. And in that grove, found a more hidden cave. Enter the so-called closed door. The absorption of fire into the body, plus the sublime Zingyuan God pill. In the process of absorption, there are still several twists and turns. Finally, let Cloud Dance fall into deep sleep. However, this time, with Bai Lao's guard, she had no worries. Inside the cave. All around a quiet, silent silence. Only, a white shadow, quietly floating in the air. The quiet guardian, the girl sitting on the stone below. Day after day. How many days and nights have passed? I don't know about Cloud Dancing. She just felt like she had a long, long sleep. When she opened her eyes again, those purple eyes flitted over a layer of purple fog. people look at it as if they can be absorbed. It's weird. However, at this time Cloud Dance did not notice. Wake up. In the air came the deep voice of Bai Lao. Cloud Dance hears the sound. This just looked up to the White Elder in the mid-air. The corner of the mouth slowly outlines. Hard you, White Elder. This sleep made her sleep very comfortable. It seems that she has been promoted in a certain class both physically and mentally. Samurai's peak class, the strength has been improved well. Bai Lao looked at her and felt her breath. When he swished up, he couldn't help picking the white eyebrow. It seems that even he was surprised. However, Yunwu seems to keep a calm attitude towards this. It's strange. This sleep let her feel as if even the whole mind have been an unprecedented liberation. It seems that this samurai stage is just the beginning. Behind is the real beginning. However, just then, Bai Lao suddenly looked up and looked at the hidden hole. There's someone out there. Cloud Dance also swept along the hole. In fact, just when the footsteps came from a distance, she already felt it. And it is those footsteps that wake her up. It doesn't matter. It should be passing by. Cloud Dance light say, mind, but is toward her contract ring to explore. Before, Xiao Stink and Bai Shuer were injured and fell asleep. Now, it should be okay. That's true. With the improvement of her strength, they not only recovered, but also improved. Even Hong Ling, who is in the same contract with Xiao Chou, seems to have improved a lot. As soon as I feel the Cloud Dance, my heart goes in, and I'm obviously excited. Seems to want to Cloud Dance, put it out. However, it is at this time. The sound of footsteps approaching the entrance of the cave. After a while, I saw a few figures and came into the door in a hurry. What kind of weather is it? The weather was fine just now. It rained when it rained. Yes, it's really bad luck. It's hard to catch up, but there's such a heavy rain again. Come on, stop whining and start a fire. There were 5 young men, 3 men and 2 women, coming in through the cave. They were all wet and muttering. However, the third person has not finished. When they saw the Cloud Dance in the cave, they were all stunned. Obviously, there are other people in this cave. However, when they saw that Na was just an ordinary girl, the 5 soon recovered. The leader was a girl in red. When I saw the Cloud Dance, I grinned. Girl, I'm sorry. We're students who went to Shenwang Samurai Academy to register. Just in time for the heavy rain, we came in to take shelter from the rain. I hope we didn't disturb you. The other 4, also quite polite, nodded to Chaoyun. After that, 5 young people didn't pay much attention to Cloud Dance because they didn't make a sound. Instead, they cooperated. They picked up some weeds and leaves in the cave and built a fire at the entrance of the cave. 5 people were sitting around the fire. But, from time to time, he looked out of the cave, as if to see if the rain had stopped. Cloud Dance, still sitting on the stone, looking at them, did not say much. However, for what they just said, they couldn't help pondering for a moment. Many days passed in her deep sleep. Is today the day for the King Warrior students to sign up? In fact, with the current strength of Cloud Dance, there is no need to enter the college to learn anything. However, this trip to the college, she had to go. Because, according to the records of the Dragon Scroll, the 4th map of the Summoning Temple is within the college. It's just, girl, are you going to sign up, too? At this time, the girl in red asked again. The Cloud Dance that comes back from meditation looks up at the girl in red. I wanted to talk. But at this time, the girl in red was surprised. Girl, you are a pair of purple eyes, okay. Then, before she finished her words, she was curious to stare at the corners of Yunwu's purple eyes, and suddenly her pupils gradually enlarged and emptied almost no seconds. The girl in red was stunned, her eyes empty. Miss Xia, what's the matter with you? See, the girl in red suddenly did not move, motionless standing there, sitting around the fire. One of the teenagers can't help frowning at the girl in red, called A. But the girl in red didn't move. The boy suddenly found something wrong and got up. When you see the girl in red, her eyes are empty. The boy's face suddenly changed. He quickly drew out his sword and pointed to Yunwoo. What did you do to her? And just under the young man's cheering, the other three men's faces sank. Brush out the sword, extremely alert to the cloud. What did you do to her? What did she do? The cloud dance sitting on the stone is still at a loss. She really didn't do anything. However, Yunwoo also noticed that the girl in red suddenly had empty eyes. What's going on? However, at this time, that floats in the mid-air, the invisibility has not appeared white old, as if the voice also has some consternation to spread. Girl, you have already reached the 7th level of your mind control skill. 9 levels are the highest. What? The 7th floor. When hearing Bai Lao's words, Yunwoo was stunned. Obviously, I can't react. Isn't her mind control skill on the 2nd floor? How did you suddenly reach the 7th floor? During this period of time, she could almost say that she had never practiced it specially. How, however, Cloud Dance does not know. The highest state of mind control is to improve unconsciously. In particular, the purer her witch blood is, the purer her cultivation power will be. But obviously, for this layman's Cloud Dance, it's still a bit out of touch. You are a pair of purple eyes. So you are the girl the queen is looking for. You. At this time, it seems that they also noticed the purple pupil of Yunwoo. One by one, their faces changed, and the bottom of their eyes sank coldly. Some time ago, the queen almost looked for a woman with a pair of purple pupils all over the country. Though, I don't know why. However, it is not a good person to be pursued by the royal family with a reward. However, when the 4 people stare at Yunwoo's purple pupil, 4 people's minds seem to be attracted by that moment. Almost without warning, the 4 people's eyes gradually began to spread, empty. In fact, Cloud Dance really didn't do anything specially. But when she's relieved. The 4 young men, like the girl in red, had empty eyes and were stiff in the same place. This is the 7th level of mind control. Is it possible to be photographed just by looking at it? Is it really that horrible? Yunwoo himself was fooled for a moment by the situation in front of him. But at this time, a strange wave came from the entrance of the cave. Immediately, a shout set off, "You monster, how dare you do evil here!" A very fast cold, from the mouth of the rapid attack to the cloud. That figure is quick, incomparable, strong breath carries that cold on, almost merciless attack. The clouds dancing on the rocks in the cave, when I feel the breath. Frowning, purple eyes coldly look to the location of the hole. It's strange. Even if it's fast. But in her eyes, it was like being slowed down. When she saw the person clearly, her eyes suddenly became cold. Almost in a flash. Belongs to the samurai breath, suddenly out. In an instant, he brushed his hand directly, and then he flew out of the attack. But at this time, outside the cave, another figure flashed in. Strong breath moved out, just want to attack Cloud Dance. But all of a sudden, the man seemed to see something. His pupils shrank and his breath suddenly closed. The figure retreated. Change hands and catch the figure that just flew out. It's you, girl. A rather surprised voice suddenly rang out. The Cloud Dance sitting on the stone seems to be relieved in the cold eyes when it hears the sound. Why are you here? Yunwoo looked at the old man, his mouth slightly raised. The voice, however, is light and cloudless. These 2 people are no other than Yun Qi and Yun Lingyi. Just yelled her fairy, sharp hand, nature is that cloud cold. As soon as Yunqi is stable, her eyes are surprised to see the cloud dance in the cave, and her mood fluctuates greatly. However, he was really surprised. Samurai breath? Has this girl reached the stage of great warrior? Although it is said that the girl summoner was in the Wuzuan stage, it is said that it is a rumor after all. Now, he actually felt the strong breath of the girl and the great warrior. It was hard for him to calm down. How long has this girl been gone? It's just less than 2 months. In the past 2 months, she went from 7 steps to the samurai. It's really amazing. What a natural gift. However, for the surprise of Yunqi, it's just like the couple who seem to know Yunwu. One side of Cloud Cold E, but his puzzled frown. Dad, do you know this enchantress? Which? As soon as Yunlingyi's words came down, Yunqi was surprised and his face sank. He turned his head, gave him a look and said, if she is a witch, what are you? Yunlingyi, who was suddenly scolded, is really full of fog. What happened to him? However, after taking a serious look at Yunwu and noticing her purple pupils, Yunlingyi suddenly narrowed her eyes. Seems to think of something. It's you and his, it's you, makes Yunqi quite satisfied. It seems that his dull son has finally found out the identity of the girl. But Yunqi's satisfaction didn't last for a few seconds. Yunlingyi's voice was cold in a moment. You are the black-faced girl who destroyed my deputy's arm in the battle with Phoenix and Beast a few months ago, aren't you? You dare to appear in front of me again in this world. How many normal people have purple eyes? What's more, not long ago. The royal family has also issued a notice that they are looking for women with purple eyes all over the country. Although, the appearance on the notice was different from the black face he saw. But there's probably no one else besides her. I didn't expect that this woman, now hiding here, would murder some young people. Think about it. Cloud Cold E eyes a cool light sink, that belongs to the majestic momentum of the general, instant vacate. It's time to start again. Pa la. The sound of a slap was suddenly ringing in the cave. Seeing that Yunqi was black, he slapped him on the back of Yunlingyi's head. You are a unfilial son. I don't know how you are. Your own daughter can't recognize her. Do you want to annoy me? Yunqi seems to be very angry. His angry voice almost collapses the cave. However, as soon as his words fell, Yunlingyi was stunned. Forget the back of the head pain, eyebrows suddenly tightened. His daughter? What do you mean? His father is crazy, isn't he? Why didn't he know he had such a daughter? No, how could he have such a daughter? Cloud Lengyi frowns and looks up. Seeing Cloud dance, he takes back his sight. He is about to turn his head and talk to Yunqi. At this time, Yunqi directly ignored him. Grinning, he walked towards the Cloud dance. 9 wenches, don't be angry. You're so skillful that you can hardly recognize your grandfather. In fact, if not for his sharp eyes to see Cloud dance this pair of purple pupil, he also really can't recognize. Looking at Yunqi coming over, there was no obvious emotional fluctuation on Yunwu's face. This old man is really smart. Although he slapped Yunlingyi. However, in front of her face, she divulges her identity to Yunlingyi. And this 9 wenches also let Cloud Coldy know directly, she is the Cloud dance of Cloud family ranking 9th. It's worthy of the title of Old Fox. However, since he was so careful, Yunwu didn't break him. Anyway, she is Yunwu's identity. Sooner or later, she will let Yunlingyi know. It doesn't matter. I stood up from the stone, loosened my muscles and bones, and the bones of my body made a click sound. When you feel comfortable. Yunwu just looked up at Yunqi with a smile, grandfather. A word, grandfather. Instant let behind Cloud Cold E, the whole person is stiff. Originally that dignified deep eyes, brush a wave of shock-like consternation. Is she really his daughter? The sick little girl with 0 talent since childhood? How possible? The strong breath that just knocked him off was stronger than him. How could she be that sick trash? How could it be his little daughter? At the moment when Yunlingyi's body is stiff, his eyes are staring at Yunwoo tightly. Deep in his eyes, he can't believe it. It seemed that he couldn't believe it anyway. However, it is at this time. It flashed through his mind a few months ago. The strange words she said when she faced him on that battlefield. She said that her relationship with him from now on is the same as the dagger that broke and turned into dust in the wind. At that time, he really didn't understand what she meant. So never mind. But now. I don't know why, Cloud Cold's heart inexplicably draw for a while. His face also changed a lot. Is she really his little daughter, Yunwoo? Even if the heart again how can't believe, can when looking at, Cloud Dance pulled down the face that piece of common appearance. Yunlingyi seemed to shake suddenly. In those eyes, there was almost no hidden surprise and fluctuation. Because. It's so similar. It's so similar. With him has been quietly buried in the bottom of my heart that face, really like too much. He always thought that he had forgotten. Can see off the mask, showing the real face of the Cloud Dance, the bottom of the heart that wave, but still very clear set off. When Yunqi saw Yunwoo's face, his eyes lit up. Instant, that old face can't help but smile deepened a few minutes. It turns out that our 9 girls are so amazing. Good. It's really good. In fact, it's vulgar to describe her with 2 words, amazing. However, Yunwoo didn't feel much about her appearance. The reason why she regained her appearance in front of them was also for the later. Wait a minute, grandfather. Take me to the King of the Gods and Warriors College to sign up. Before, I thought that I could use the identity of Emperor Zhou Batian to send her directly to Shenwang Warrior Academy with Long San. But in the meantime, so much has happened. She is worried, no certificate, how to enter the college. Right now. Since both Yunqi and Yunlingyi are here, it's only natural that they can enter as Yunwoo. Cloud Dance did not last long after its appearance was restored. Just in front of Yunqi and Yunlingyi, she uses her magical way to change her face to restore her pale and sick face. Is as like as 2 peas in the first place. I don't know why. Looking at Yunwoo now, Yunlingyi has no choice but to treat her as the sick little daughter in the mansion. But, just now, he was shot out by her. If it wasn't for Yunqi, I'm afraid he would be embarrassed enough. As long as it's a normal person, I don't think it's possible to treat her as the waste before. Yunlingyi just feels that he is inexplicably depressed at the bottom of his heart. For a while, I didn't say a word. In fact, it's the first time that Yunqi has seen Cloud Dance as a means of changing appearance. The heart is dark, surprised a turn. Under his hand, there is also a transvestite master. Otherwise, I would not have got a person like Yunwoo to lie in bed for several months instead of her. But, by comparison. But he found that this girl's technique of changing looks was even more novel and exquisite. Where did the girl learn all this? Of course, Yunqi is curious. But for this girl's temperament, but very understanding, should not ask more but not very good. This is not easy, just let this little girl, a little change to him. Naturally, Yunqi is very smart and knows how to control the propriety. 9 wenches, in fact, with your present strength, you don't need to go to college anymore. Cloud Dance hears speech, light a smile way, grandfather, I naturally have the reason to go. As for the reasons, she did not intend to explain too much. Smell speech, Cloud Chi nods. Okay, wait a minute. I'll have the cheek to look for my old friend. I'm sure he will give me some face. But, girl, have enough fun, don't forget to go home. After all, the Cloud family is your root. At the end, Yunqi looks at her with a smile and says something seriously. How can Yunwoo not understand the meaning of Yunqi's words? Glancing at Yunlungi, Cloud Dance outlined the corner of his mouth. If there is a grandfather in the Cloud family, that's my root. This granddaughter is very clear. However, the implication is, she only knows Yunqi when she is at Yun's home. Her words, not surprisingly, made Yunlungi's face seem to change slightly. Yunqi sighs at the bottom of his heart. It seems that it will take some time for this girl to accept the whole Cloud family. However, compared with the first time we met, we have made a lot of progress. At this time, Yunqi is smart and doesn't continue the topic. Instead, he turned his head and looked at the location of the entrance of the mountain. The 5 young men with loose eyes and lost souls. 9 wenches, are these 5 young people offending you? Yunwu also looked at the 5 people, shrugged and said, no. No? Then you. Yunqi didn't go on. I didn't do anything, they just looked me in the eye, and that's it. To this question, Yunwu gave a very direct answer. In fact, she really didn't do anything. However, the words of Cloud Dance fell. Yunlungi, who had been silent, frowned. You didn't do anything. How could they be like this? Just look her in the eye. Who will believe this sentence? Hearing the voice of Yunlungi, Yunwu's eyes flashed, and the corners of his mouth outlined slightly. It seems that General Yun doesn't believe it very much. As soon as Yunqi heard her voice, he felt bad. I'm going to talk to ease the atmosphere between their father and daughter. But at this time, a figure passed directly in front of Yunqi's eyes. In the twinkling of an eye, Yunwu has stood in front of Yunlenji. And her purple eyes directly meet the black eyes of Cloud Lingi. Light purple fog suddenly spread from the cloud that pair of purple pupil. At that moment, Yunlengi's heart trembled. Brush in the eyes had a sense of surprise, this want to move the line of sight. However, as if the soul in that second, directly by the pair of purple pupil to suck in. Black pupil, gradually enlarged and lax. All this happened very quickly. 9 wenches, stop. Don't go too far. Even if he has something wrong with you, he is also your own father. Blood is thicker than water. Yunqi comes forward and drinks, trying to stop Yunwu. But before his hand touched the Cloud Dance, he was bounced away by a strange force. At that time, the shadow of Bai Lao clearly appeared in front of Yunqi's eyes. Since it's their father's and daughter's business, don't interfere. Bai Lao, speak deeply. When Yunqi saw Bai Lao who suddenly appeared from the void, he was obviously a little surprised. He couldn't feel that there were other people in the cave. You are. However, Bai Lao did not answer him. But the figure disappeared in front of Yunqi's eyes. Yunqi's pupil shrinks. What's going on? Just now, he is not dazzled, is he? Looking at the white shadow in the air, there is a kind of emotional fluctuation in Yunqi's heart. However, at this time, the voice of Cloud Dance is faint from his ear. Grandfather, what are you looking at? After hearing this, Yunqi seemed to come back. Yunqi is also at this time, quickly turns his eyes and looks at Yunwu and Yunlenji. See, Cloud Dance has already removed the eye. Cloud Lengyi, at this time, is looking at him with a smile. It seems that everything just happened is just fantasy. But Yunqi seems to suddenly understand something, and his eyes are surprised. This girl's side, unexpectedly still has the high person to guard. Grandfather, it's getting late. Should we be able to start? Yunwu looks at Yunqi and says with a smile. As for the surprise in his eyes, she didn't seem to see it. Actually, Yunqi's words, in the end or let Cloud Dance, did not go down. Blood is thicker than water. I hope this sentence won't make her regret in the future. After she takes back Zitong, Yunlenji's pupil begins to slow down. But let him have a headache to crack, let him can't help but dull hum rub forehead. However, at this time, Yunlenji's heart is in shock. Her eyes really have that strange power. Left the cave. The rain outside is still falling. 3 people, holding 3 oil paper umbrellas, walking towards the city in the heavy rain. However, it does not seem abrupt at all. Because as soon as I got close to the gate, as soon as I saw, in the heavy rain, many people gathered from all the roads, ready to enter the city. It seems that the enrollment of the Shenhuang Samurai Academy may be an unprecedented event for the people of the Zhou dynasty. When you enter the city, cloud dance can be regarded as a real insight into the prosperity of Lingcheng. The architecture is a bit of a tired Roman style, with oval, triangular roofs. Even in a rainy day, it also appears to be a special beauty. Along the streets in the city, there are rain curtains and all kinds of goods. Perhaps, some hawkers are set up to welcome people from all over the world to register for this year. This can mean when we can make a fortune. Because there are so many people gathering, even in the rain, there are still a lot of people coming together to choose. However, fortunately, the heavy rain didn't last all the time. When Yunwu 3 people, through those busy streets, came to a place where everyone gathered, the sky began to clear up gradually. Although, the sky is still some dark clouds. But after the rain stopped, it obviously made many people feel more and more high. Especially, when the people gathered in the open space saw the towering gate, they were all excited. King Samurai Academy. The 6 characters are like symbols of great glory. I came here today. Naturally, they are all candidates who have been disqualified by their tutors in advance. However, the enrollment of Shenhuang Samurai College is much stricter than other colleges. The candidates belong to the candidates, but they are not real students. The whole Zhou dynasty knew it. Shenhuang Samurai College enrollment, students before admission, there is still a selection. Only through the selection, get the college is the distribution of the badge. Only in this way can we formally enter the college and become the students of the King Warrior. Therefore, many people are coming today. This spacious square is estimated to hold as many as 5,000 people. But now, it's almost full. In addition to some accompanying family members, it is estimated that there are also students ranging from 1,000. Cloud Dance looked at such a crowded scene, frowned. In this case, when we get to the front, it's estimated that we'll have to go from day to night. Girl, there are too many people here. You wait here. I'll go to the front to look for my old acquaintance and see if there is a back door. Yunqi frowned when he saw the scene. However, his loud voice is not very low-key. See, he that words fall, the vision of the people around, brush of sweep to come over. At the sight of Yunwu's pale and sick face, every one of them was infected with a look of boredom. It turned out to be a diseased boy who wanted to go through the back door. They are so easy to get into the King Warrior Academy. Can anyone go through the back door? No one knows that Shenhuang Samurai Academy is not only strict in selecting students, but also does not allow anyone to go through the back door. Now, I heard the old man say in a loud voice that he wanted to find his old friends and go through the back door. I really don't know the so-called person. Yes, of course. For those disdainful eyes cast around, Yunqi directly ignores them. Body shape a jump, twinkling of an eye, quickly toward the square in front of the gate. In such a crowded scene, Yunqi's behavior naturally attracted the attention of countless people. However, it is obvious that the person concerned seems immune to the sight of others. And for those who are immune to sight, there's another one. That's Cloud Dance. After Yunqi left, Yunwu really didn't plan to squeeze in, so he just stayed where he was. Waiting, Yunqi brings back the back door news. She doesn't mind the back door. Anyway, when she entered the college, she was just looking for the map of the Calling Temple. As long as she finds it, she naturally has no interest in studying in the college. She has a lot to do. However, Yunlingyi, who follows Yunwu, seems not used to the sight. As if, with his identity and status, he was looked down upon. However, although he was not used to it, he didn't say anything. Half a ring. Yunqi's loud voice came from the front door. 9 wenches, come here quickly, come to interview first. It's just under Yunqi's loud voice. The whole square was in an uproar. On the noisy square, there was a sudden silence. Almost at that moment, the whole square was so quiet that a needle could be heard falling. Interview? Isn't it time to start the selection of colleges? How can someone interview first? But in such silence, Cloud Dance is quite direct, just like that from the crowd through the past. See only, she goes forward, the person that is crowded ahead, can give way to a way automatically. Just like that, in full view of the public. Came to the majestic gate of the Samurai Academy. Yunqi is standing in front of a side door beside the gate, talking with a white-haired old man, as if discussing something. And at the sight of Cloud Dance, Yunqi quickly pulls Yunwu over, grinning and saying to the white-haired old man, Liuzi, this is my precious granddaughter. After entering the college, you have to take care of her for me. I've seen people go through the back door, but no one has ever seen them go through the back door so openly in front of thousands of people. What's going on? Dear, if you want to interact with the world, you can add QQ Reader Group, 4819099434. However, I don't know if it's because of Yunqi's loud voice or the sight of the whole square. Let the old man named Liuzi take a sharp puff at the corner of his mouth. However, the line of sight is still swept in the past. Petite thin, coupled with that rather pale sick face, the whole gives a kind of lazy sick-like. After looking at him a few times, the old man frowned. Obviously, for Yunwu, Yunqi doesn't intend to keep a low profile at all. Lu Zi, the director of the tutor, is really helpless. He can only say to Chao Yunqi in a hurry. Seems to be afraid, in front of this Cloud family father and son, in public gabble of Pol big voice. After hearing this, Yunqi patted him on the shoulder with satisfaction. Okay, remember to take care of my little granddaughter. I'll let you play chess more in the future. With that, Yunqi led Yunwu to the side door. Looking at the back of Yunqi's 3 families, the corner of Liuzi's mouth couldn't help smoking again. This dead old man, talking or something, doesn't look at the occasion at all. Next to the gate of Shenwang Samurai Academy is a small gate. It seems to have been set up specifically to open the back door. At this time, next to the small door, there was a chair table, and a middle-aged tutor, who looked like he was in his 40s, was sitting there. However, when Yunwu saw the man, she couldn't help picking her eyebrows. Because, that person is not others. Just a few months ago, Wu Qing, the tutor who took Li Xiner and other students to the Northern Warcraft Forest for training, Cloud Dance and Long Qingxie met. Unexpectedly, he led the team to lose so many students, but also in the college. It seems that the rules of this college are not very good. 9 wenches, during this period of time, I live in this city for the time being. If you need any help, you can put up the signal bomb for the Cloud family, and I will come. At the same time, Yunqi puts 2 bamboo-like things into Yunwu's hands. Cloud Dance took a look, but did not refuse to accept. I see, but go back first. Nothing will happen for the time being. What else did Yunqi want to say? But at this time, since he came out of the cave, Yunlingyi, who had never said a word to Yunwu, suddenly handed over a sign. These are some military orders in the south. There are not many people, but they all follow me on the battlefield for many years. They are loyal to the Yu army of our Cloud family. If they have something to do, they will dispatch them by themselves. At the end of the speech, Yunlingyi shoves the sign into Yunwu's hand and turns away. This move made Yunwu a little unresponsive. What does he mean? Cloud Dance looked at the military amulet in the hand of I, looked at the cloud cold E that leaves I, brow frowned for a while. After all, you are his daughter. What's the revenge between father and daughter? This time, Yunqi said as if he was really satisfied. After that, he talked to her a few more words before he was willing to leave. Seeing the father and son leave, Yunwoo turns around and walks towards the side door. As soon as he approached, a deep voice came. Name, age, talent, rank, skill. Cloud Dance looked at Wu Qing, and the faint voice answered, Cloud Dance, 15 years old, 0 talent, 0 level, 0 skill. Wu Qing, who is writing to register, immediately stops writing with a frown. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.